There's nothing like September baseball when the race for the playoffs heat up. And while KC would love to be the hunted, they'll spend this 9th month fishing for trout, keeping the K in Canerco, and stealing a crown from a prince. Tonight's hunt begins with Bruce Chen as the Royals try and bedevil the Angels next. It's a beautiful, cool evening in Kansas City, where we come to you from Kauffman Stadium for the first of a 3-game series between the Angels and the Royals. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. There are 3 weeks left in the season. 19 games, 12 against teams that are playoff contenders, like the White Sox, the Tigers, and tonight against the Angels, teams desperate to stay in the chase. Joining me tonight is Rex Hudler. Rex, how are these playoff contenders looking at the Royals right now?
Well, Fizz, one of the great things I love about my job is I can go on both sides and talk to the managers. Talking to Leland, Ventura, all these skippers here on these teams that the Royals are playing, they have nothing but high praise, and they're a little leery whenever they get in the airspace of Kansas City or whenever the Royals get near their airspace, because they know they're getting a team that will not quit. Now, they're playing spoiler for certain, but that's exactly what you do this time of year. You go out and you beat these teams. You send a message to them, and Bruce Chen has a chance to go out there and start this homestand off great against C.J. Wilson. I can't wait to see how Bruce is going to develop his pitching.
The Royals are 17-12 the last month against playoff contenders. They take on the Angels next. The official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals, and by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. When we come back, Joel Goldberg will take us inside the game.
the All-Star game. Now we see him here, and he has been spectacular on defense with the home run saving catches. Joel Goldberg out in right field. Trout is a legitimate favorite to win the MVP, leads the American League in average runs and stolen bases, third in on-base and slugging percentage, and how about this? The first ever rookie to have a 45 stolen base, or 40 stolen base, 25 home run season, and the youngest ever to get to 40 stolen bases since Ty Cobb. What a year he has had. Bruce Chen will try to retire him. He throws the first pitch next at Kauffman Stadium.
Internet and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. The Angels come to the K after losing 3 of their last 4 to the Oakland A's. They are second in batting in the American League and third in runs scored. Mike Trout, an MVP candidate, will lead things off, followed by Ibar, then a former MVP, Albert Pujols. Torrey Hunter, Howie Kendrick, Vernon Wells, Trumbo, Callaspo, and Iannetta round out the Angel 9. On the hill, the Kia pitching report on Bruce Chen.
Home sweet home. The Royals have won 8 of his last 10 here at the K. And the long and short of it, 7 home runs allowed in his last 2 starts for Bruce. Got to keep these halos in the yard. Blow big bubbles. That's right. Go ahead, Bruce, and blow that double bubble. Whatever you do, chew it with confidence because you're going to need it. He's given up a lot of home runs this year, 29, 25 to right-handed bats. Keep her down. Use all your arm angles and every one of your pitches and just be Bruce, and I like your chances.
It is the first time in Major League history that one of the keys to the game is how you chew your double bubble gum.
You got to be confident.
Here is Mike Trout. Perhaps he could put that double bubble on the end of the hook to hook the trout.
Well, to do that, keep the ball down and use your defense.
Mike is having an amazing year. For a rookie, he is leading the American League in batting at .331, in stolen bases with 45, in runs scored with 115. 115 runs, Hut, and he wasn't even called up until April 28th.
Oh, and there's no question he's probably the most complete package of a big leaguer there is in both leagues. There's no doubt. There's nobody debating that. The thing that I can't wait to see is Mike Trout getting on first base and attempting a steal and seeing if Salvi can throw him out. 2 of the youngest players, position players in their sport, are going head-to-head tonight.
Trout 21, Perez 22. And that one is struck off his foot. That might slow him down.
Bruce will do that with that breaking ball. To right-handed batters, he's going to use a lot of different pitches and different arm angles, even to righties. The breaking ball down near the ground, they're going to foul them off their foot. Change-ups, high fastballs, 3 different arm angles. He invents. He's an artist, Bruce Ginn.
Well, Trout in some kind of pain because it's taking him a while to get back in that batter's box. Chain will work him away, and he strikes him out.
Just like I said, he'll climb the ladder on you. And he can be deceptive. Now, we've seen his velocity pick up just a little bit, but look, he's very successful at 88. All right, defending behind him, sponsored by Ford. We're going to show you. Bourgeois got called up. He's getting the nod out in center field. Giovatella's picked up his fielding. Salvador Perez has been good, but Bourgeois is getting a chance. He's saying, I like to hit left-handers. I hope I can have a big game.
Here is Eric Ibar, and he goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Foul territory. Eric Hosmer, 2 outs.
Okay, early count outs are important for Bruce.
We should tell our fans Bourgeois is starting because of the injury suffered by Lorenzo Cain, a right hamstring strain, not available tonight. Question mark for the rest of the week. Our time and temperature is brought to you by the parking spot. First pitch at 7:10. The temperature a very comfortable 68 degrees. Fans, you should be at the K tonight. It is a beautiful evening in the Midwest.
Beautiful day.
Here is Albert Pujols. Slow start, then progressed and got better every single month. And it's another Pujols-like campaign. 30 home runs, 96 RBIs. In the air, left side, Alex Gordon. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels in the first inning. We head to the bottom of number 1. Bourgeois coming up. Cain that could cost him the rest of September. Jason Bourgeois called up from the minor leagues. He'll be followed by Escobar, Gordon, Butler, Perez, Moustakas, Francoeur, Hosmer, and Giovatella. Bourgeois, a guy with very good speed, and he will face C.J. Wilson, who's been one of the top left-handers in the game the last 3 seasons.
All right, check out those numbers right there. He's a little bit high on the walks department. Now 78 walks, that's 5th in the American League. He does have a plethora of pitches, just like Bruce. However, they're trying to cut him down to his main core pitches, a lot like Hochevar too. They want him just to stay with his fastball, slider, split finger, changeup combination. Now, defensively, sponsored by Ford, this is a team that's 1 percentage point fielding ahead of the Royals. 984 fielding percentage. Okay, Royals are at 983. But their shortstop, Eric Ibar, he's the perennial Gold Glover. Now, he won the gold last year, and he probably will win it again this year because he hasn't done anything to to disrupt that. He's got 13 errors, but he's a solid defender. But when I asked him about Escobar, he says, I'm going to keep it for one more year at least.
Escobar, who has made 17 errors, has been one of baseball's best this year. And Bourgeois in there for two reasons. He always hits left-handers well. In his career, a .330 hitter against southpaws. And also the fact that he is 5 for 10 against C.J. Wilson.
So overall this year, he's a .345 hitter against southpaws. Overall, the Royals this year are .254 as an offense against lefties, and the record is 22-25 against lefties. Okay, lay off of that one, that down in the dirt. Now, CJ's going to sink his fastball. He's going to try to. Also, you know, he likes to cutter. He likes to cut that ball in on right-handers, but he will come at you. But you got to be a little selective off of him because he will walk.
Perfectly located, low outside corner, fastball at 92, and Bourgeois is gone looking.
And he might reach 93, but he's comfortable around 90 to 93. But that's just dissecting right there the lower half of the strike zone.
CJ will turn 32 in November. He's out of Huntington Beach, California. Grew up watching the Angels and now playing for them. Signed a long-term deal in the offseason, coming over from the Texas Rangers. And again, a perfectly located fastball at the knees, down away. If he can locate that pitch, he's going to be tough to beat. Comes right back there, but a little bit low. Escobar, good road trip with 11 hits. He has a 9-game hit streak, hitting .350 in that time to raise his average to .297.
Esky, .272 hitter against southpaws, but you see that during that streak what he's been doing, and he's a guy who puts the ball in play wherever it's pitched.
The last time he was at 300 was September 2nd. A little slide after that, dipped under 300. He would love to be back up there. Big game for the Angels. They are 77-66, 7.5 games out in the American League West. I don't think they're going to catch the Rangers, but they're 3.5 games back of the wild card, and that is what they're after. Foul ball.
C.J. Wilson, you know, last year he pitched 223 innings. Okay, that's a workhorse right there. Now this year, heck, he hasn't missed any starts. Him and Bruce are going for their 31st start today. They're actually making that. That's amongst the league lead. He's 9th.
Again, tipped foul left side, and he has been able to cut that fastball in on Escobar, really hurting him.
Yep. Let me talk about that again. C.J. Wilson and Bruce Chen are tied for the American League best in starts. They're both making their 31st start. Didn't come out the right way.
You see what C.J. did Saturday against Detroit. And that ball flipped foul right side. It'll stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Rex, before he signed the big deal, you talked about the superlative: 16 wins, 2.94 ERA, 223 innings, another 200 strikeout season. But it was what he did not do in the postseason. He did not win. He went 0-3 with an ERA almost 6 in the postseason. Callaspo, tough play, outstanding play.
Usually if that ball bounces 2 or more times on a topper like that, the guy's going to be safe. But credit Callaspo for the bare hand. That was a nice play.
Here is Alex Gordon. As we check out our Toyota League leaders, we'll find the guys who are right at the top in the doubles race. Alex Gordon of the Royals, #1, 5 ahead of Albert Pujols.
shooting for that line again. .243 average against lefties with 3 homers is Gordon, but he's a doubles machine. You see it, and also he's not afraid to throw out some triples either. He's got 5.
Tried to jam him inside and misses. C.J. Wilson was a pitcher / outfielder at Loyola Marymount and really was not that highly regarded until late in the year. And he developed his junior year and became a terrific pitcher as Gordon again sends it foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But once he got drafted, he came up as a starter, then he was moved to the bullpen, and Nolan Ryan, when he was with the Rangers, said this guy can start, and CJ wanted to, and he really had success. Gordon again sends it foul territory. Caspo, did he make it? Yes, he did. 2 dandy plays by Alberto Callasco, the former Kansas City Royal, and he gets the final 2. October is just around the corner. Join us for Oktoberfest next Friday for an exclusive pregame event on the Budweiser patio. Enjoy German beer samplings, a select menu of German tastings, and great giveaways courtesy of Budweiser. Tickets are just $25 and include a seat in the right field outfield box. Go to Royals.com/Oktoberfest for tickets. And here is a swing and a line drive up the middle, and Torrey Hunter stays hot, batting .453 his last 15 games.
But he stayed with that nice. Watch his. He looked like a changeup down. He just stayed right on it with a short swing. Gives his little patented bat flip when he hits one good. He knows it now. Look at that. Stayed right down on it. Flips that bat away. Says that's a knock.
We have our first base runner, and it is Torrey Hunter. And here is Howie Kendrick. Howie, a solid player. They expected him to be a batting champion. He still does strike out a little too much. He struck out 100 times this year and only walked 26. But they signed him to a 4-year deal.
You know, Fizz, I have to take a little bit of the blame for that, because when he first got to the big leagues and we were broadcasting for the Angels, I was talking about this guy being a next batting title holder, you know, because he hits so well in the minors. He uses all the field, especially to the opposite field. Very good compact swing. And we talked about him for his first 2 or 3 years. Hey, folks, be prepared. This guy's going to be a batting champ. And it just hasn't happened yet for him.
He does have a short, compact swing, a little like Mike Trout. But is he more, or I should say, is he less disciplined than Trout outside the zone?
He doesn't draw the walks. You need that to hit for a high average. Doesn't count as a plate appearance, and you get a walk and a knock in a game, and 4 at bats. That's 1 for 3. That's going to help your batting average.
Kendrick, now 29 years of age, out of Jacksonville, Florida, lives in Phoenix, Arizona.
Now, Torrey Hunter, at 37 years old, he can still rip off a base. He's 9 for 10 this year, but he's more selective at his age, and he's going to pick his spots. But they also are well aware of who Bruce Chen is throwing to and Salvador Perez's skills. So they're going to pick their spots to try to run.
Perez has thrown out 42% of would-be base stealers this year, one of the best marks. Remember, he did not make it until the end of June because of the meniscus tear in his left knee. Missed the first 3 months of the season, and that includes, of course, spring training. Good pitch by Bruce Chen, and he strikes out Howard Kendrick.
Okay, Bruce is a tough guy to figure out because he's got so many pitches, and he's really good at locating, and he's a veteran, and he knows the art of his game.
Here's Vernon Wells.
You know, Torrey Hunter would look good in a Kansas City Royals uniform.
Are you recruiting?
Not at all. Just a wish, and a leader.
He is a fantastic leader. As a matter of fact, he was one of our favorite players and Ryan Lefebvre's favorite player when Ryan knew him at the Minnesota Twins organization. And just a delightful guy to be around. Picks everybody up. He's a great teammate.
He's a veteran. It's been there and done it. Now he wants to win.
Popped him up. Bruce Chen says he'll take it. A rare opportunity for a pitcher. What's going on here, Hud?
Wow. How about that? Well, that's the one time that a pitcher will catch a ball when no one else can, and it's right up the middle.
You'll see this in Williamsport in the Little League World Series.
Moose didn't have time to come in, and you saw how tough the angle would have been for Salvi to catch that.
Here's Mark Trumbo. Big time power. 30 home runs, 84 RBIs. For those fans who went to the home run derby here at the K back in July, this guy was absolutely impressive. He looked like King Kong when he smashed one almost off the facing of the Hall of Fame. He almost hit it over the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, lately he's been swinging at a lot of air, so he hasn't been able to make some contact, and he's got 138 strikeouts. Him and Dunn are a little bit alike, although he doesn't have the plate discipline that Dunn. He's a young player. He's got just 35 walks in 488 appearances.
Don't want to make a mistake against this guy because he can hit it far, and he lines this one. So Chen has him set up, Hud. The count is 0-2, and this is where Bruce can really work a younger player.
No doubt about it, man. He can work all quadrants of that strike zone.
Popped him up. Mile high, foul territory. Moustakas or Perez, and they collide, but Salvi comes up with the baseball and then gets hit by Moustakas' elbow on the right side of his face. And Salvi a little woozy getting up, but he held onto the baseball, and Chen and Moose helping him back to the Royals dugout.
Ooh, he's in some pain. Now I heard Moose. You can see Moose was calling for it, but that elbow in the temple, that ain't working.
Van Veldhuizen. He attended the University of Kansas Medical Center in 1986 as a resident in internal medicine and hematology oncology, which is treatment of cancer and blood diseases. He served as chief of the cancer division of the VA from 1999 to 2009 and currently serves as director for the Division of Hematology Oncology at KU Med Center. And he resides in Kansas City. He also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the VA Medical Center and an award from KU Medical Center for providing mentorship to trainees and students. Thank you very much, Dr. Peter Van Veldhuizen. Here is Billy Butler. Billy at 311, 25 home runs. And we mentioned the 25 home runs because it has been 25 games since he last hit a home run. Now he has struck the ball well, hitting .354 that last month. But he wants desperately to push that aside because that will be number 100 in his Royals career. And he hits this one well. Could this be it? Yes, it is. Number 100 for Billy Butler.
Congratulations, Billy, on a nice round number. Too bad there wasn't anybody on, but it's 1-0 Royals.
Look at his teammates.
Curtain call here at the K. Give it up for the people, Billy.
Perez grounds out, but all the attention right now is on number 16, the guy with the biggest smile on his face because of this.
Oh, pulled his hands in nicely on that inside fastball. Wilson tried to sneak a piece of cheese by a hungry rat who wants that number 100. It's been over a month. Good for him to get that home run bat going. 26th.
August 11th against Chris Tillman 25 games ago. He is only 26 years old, and he already has 100 Major League home runs. And I think he is taking a big exhale right now because he's been thinking about it. He thought he got it in Minnesota, and he goes, I went into my home run trot and I started breathing as if it was a home run rather than quicker breathing for a double.
And then he said he saw the ball bounce back and he said, well, uh-oh, there's a gapper.
It sure is hit well. And that ball's off the top of the wall and gone. Moose against a left-hander, C.J. Wilson. 2-0 KC.
Pilot to Bombardier. Open up them Bombay doors. We got some bombs in this inning. Moose drives a ball that's down at the knees, right where Wilson wants to put it. Sneaks it over the right center field wall for number 20.
Time for Jeff Francoeur as Mike Moustakas gets a chest bump from David Lowe. 3 of them. 2-0 Kansas City. And right now the Royals taking a page out of the Angels book because it's the Angels who are the power team. They have 173 home runs. The Royals now with 117. KC dead last in home runs, but 2 big flies right here.
Okay, this is the last thing I thought Moose would do off of C.J. Wilson. I thought for sure off the bat that was going to be a gapper. He just had a lot more carry on it on a nice, cool evening here at the K.
Kendrick throws out Jeff Francoeur, 2 outs.
But Wilson, the league's only hitting .238 off of him, and he's just given up 13 home runs to righties and 2 to lefties. So his splits are pretty good. I mean, there's not anybody tearing him up. So his opponent's batting average is well below 240, or it's right at 238. It's a good number for a pitcher.
Eric Hosmer, his numbers continue to climb, hitting 314 the last month. First pitch fastball up and in from CJ. Eric had 4 hits on the trip, including a home run in Minnesota, and opposite field shot.
Okay, now the Angels had their scouts at the Minnesota series, and they saw what Minnesota was doing to try to pitch him inside. They're going to do the same. Now that was a nice pitch away there. That's a good spot, but their teams are going to try to get him in because he had such a great series there in Minnesota where he hit the ball well to the opposite field. They're challenging him inside now.
Chris Iannetta catching C.J. Wilson tonight. The Angels lost 3 of 4 to the Oakland Athletics in a recent series. KC coming back from a solid road trip, 4-2 to Chicago and Minnesota. Easily could have gone 5-1, and there is a Tapper foul, but they lost the final game last night 4-3 in 10 innings. Still going 4-2 in Chicago, in Minnesota. They'll take that. He was almost feeling for that pitch.
Yeah, that's an emergency hack, but fortunately for him, he got a piece of the ball. So 6th pitch coming. He's got a pretty good AB here going for his first time up.
Hosmer pops it up, shallow center. Ibar makes the catch, but 2 big flies, one by Moustakas, but the most important one, this man, Billy Butler, number 100 in his Royals career, and Kansas City now has a 2-0 lead.
Houston, we have liftoff.
And started off the game real nicely, striking out Mike Trout. Will be fun to watch and see how that matchup goes throughout the game. We're obviously talking a lot about Trout because he's putting up one of the great rookie seasons of all time, not to mention the fact that he's leading the big leagues in so many categories. And, interesting, guys, because he has been talked about so much around baseball because of these numbers, but some really fun stories, too. A recent Sports Illustrated article had him in high school out bowling very late at night with some high school buddies, and his parents got what they thought maybe was a dreaded call, hearing from their son at 2 in the morning. Well, he had been out midnight bowling with his friends, just wanted to let his parents know that he had bowled a 300. So he is a very good athlete. The other entertaining story from that article, as we were going to see the fly ball to right field, was that a lot of the veterans took him out for a steak dinner during spring training this year, and then Jared Weaver stuck him with an $1,800 bill. He freaked out, ran to the bathroom, according to the story, called his mom and said, I don't know if I have enough money in my bank account. What do I do? She said, how about use a credit card? The next day, he got to the spring training complex, and at his locker was a Tonka dump truck with 7,200 quarters.
How about that? Courtesy of Jared Weaver.
Boy, those are great pranks they pull on guys. I'm telling you, it never stops either. That goes a full season. Now, for Scioscia and his bunch, they do a lot of that in spring training. They're a little bit more serious during the year, but guys mess with each other all the time.
Chris Iannetta is the batter after Callaspo flied to right field. Iannetta, a veteran, 29 years old, from Providence, Rhode Island. But the things that they will do, and Mike Trout, just an incredible young man. Looks like Frenchie's going to get a little more work in right field, and he takes care of Iannetta. So 2 quick outs, and you'll see that from Bruce Chen, either strikeouts or a lot of pop-ups and fly balls. So that's why he is perfect for Kauffman Stadium, a big fly ball pitcher's ballpark. Now we will see that young man Mike Trout, who just turned 21 last month. Bruce will work him. He struck him out swinging his first time up. And a fastball about 88 miles an hour, up and away. Breaking ball misses barely outside. And when he was drafted in the first round by the Angels, he was one of the only players from high school to go to New York City and be at the draft. He went with his mom and dad. His dad, Jeff, was an outstanding coach growing up and still coaches high school baseball and a lot of football as well. His dad played in the Twin system. But they said that meant a lot to Major League Baseball that he would show up for the draft. Ground ball, Giavotella. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels. We head to the bottom half of number 3. KC up by 2. Fireworks Friday of the season. We are pulling out all of the stops. Join us next week for a fireworks finale spectacular presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi as the Royals take on the Indians. It is also Buck Night, so hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks are just $1. Get your tickets now at Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. C.J. Wilson to face Johnny Giavotella, and he throws him strike one. Johnny had 7 hits on the road trip. His batting average right now at .241. He has been the Royals' main second baseman ever since Chris Getz was lost for the season with that thumb injury suffered, as Giavotella sends it down the right field line, and he will head to second base.
Okay, he could have pushed the envelope to third base there if he wanted to, but there's nobody out here. He's saying, you know what, I'm not going to take a chance on him making a first out at third. I'm in scoring position, and he certainly went the other way nicely there. He waited till the ball got deep, ball was elevated through his hands.
This is his opportunity, and he knows that. Gets out. Johnny has showed improved defense, and now getting on.
Now
Jason Bourgeois
has a chance to move the runner here, score some brownie points with Ned Yost. Hit the ball to the right side, maybe drop a bunt, be creative. Let's see what you can do to move that runner. That's what the situation calls for.
The corners are in as Wilson drops strike one. Bourgeois struck out looking his first time up. Kansas City with a 2-0 lead. Solo home runs by Billy Butler, number 100 in his Kansas City career, and Mike Moustakas, number 20 for his season. Bourgeois called up from the minor leagues where he hit .243 for the Omaha Storm Chasers. Continue their PCL playoff run tonight in Omaha.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to try to get him over with on that. That was a hard cutter in. C.J. Wilson, he knows the situation too. So does Iannetta. They don't want him to hit that ball to the right side and move Gio over to third base because that gives him better opportunity to score when you get to third base with less than 2 outs.
Do you think he'll double up on that pitch?
I'd come back in again if I was Wilson and Iannetta. But you also can feel that as a hitter. And sometimes go ahead and turn it loose and pull it. Pull it down the line or hit a hole. You can get him over and in that way too. With 2 strikes, managers don't mind if you do that. It's a good job of laying off that. And Bourgeois is a little anxious. He wants to show his skills. So some guys swing over the top of that, but he's being a little bit selective.
That's a base hit. Giovatello will score, and Kansas City goes in front 3-0.
Okay, there's the bonus. Got him over and in on a well-struck ball. Wilson gave him a pitch on the outer half. He made it easier for him. But he was ready for it. Gio bringing the mail home from second.
Bourgeois always a threat to go, and this is a good hit and run situation with Escobar who can handle the bat and Bourgeois who can run.
Look at Escobar. He's taking a long look down there. He's a perfect kind of hitter you can run and hit with, or hit and run, however you want to choose it. There's 2 different kinds. A guy takes off for a steal and the batter hits it and puts it in play. That's a run and hit. A hit and run is when the runner at first makes sure the pitcher goes home, and then he goes, and you can see the runner peeking back to see what the hitter's doing. That's a hit and run.
Bourgeois was Houston's best base stealer last year, stole 31 in only 94 games. That is to Callaspo. He gets one. Kendrick's return, not in time.
Boy, Callaspo, he's showing some soft hands tonight. That's not a routine backhand. A little short hop there. See how he picks it, turns, and fires it. Howie Kendrick, nice job of turning it. Bourgeois getting a little piece of him down there, but Escobar barely beat that.
Cayaspo really looks sharp at the hot corner. He grew up with Eric Ibar, with Ibar at short and Cayaspo at second base. But then in the major leagues, he had a rough time at second, and management found out that his best spot was really at third.
Well, he's done a nice job there. If you ask me, where the Angels missed out was not signing Beltre. After the 0-11 season, he was a free agent. They had some issues there with his man, with the Boris company and all that stuff, and so they didn't sign him. He went on to Texas, and Texas took him to 2 World Series. And had they think about the Angels with Beltre in their lineup at third, what that would have done for this whole Angels organization.
And quite frankly, Rex, I think there's only one third baseman in the American League better than the Royals, Mike Moustakas, and it's Adrian Beltre, who likely will win the Gold Glove. There goes Escobar. He gets the steal, and that is number 29 this year as he continues his career best.
Well, if you go percentage-wise, Moustakas has a better fielding percentage than Beltre, but Beltre is a veteran and is a perennial Gold Glover. Escobar gets a good takeaway and rips him off. Watch Ibar. Okay, he's going to try to trick Escobar, thinking the ball got by him here. After he puts the tag on him, he'll kind of act like the ball got away from him. Look at him. He turns his body to try to trick Escobar. Escobar looked to the outfield there. You can doodle things like that.
Here is Alex Gordon. 65 runs driven in this year. And he pulls this one down the line. Pujols has it. That will get Escobar over to third base, but 2 outs now. Fans, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Billy Butler, who sent a blast deep into the night, gave Kansas City a 1-0 lead. His home run number 100 in his Royals career. Taste greatness.
He's had ample opportunities to hit that 100th, but good time. It's always a good time to hit a homer. Team's most consistent hitter, especially with the runner in scoring position.
His first career home run came against an Angel, Irvin Santana, who has allowed the most home runs this year, 35. So he has had his success against the Angels, but quite frankly, Rex, he has had his success against every big league club. Takes another big rip.
Okay, let's take another look at this inside fastball. It looked like a little cutter in. It didn't quite cut in enough, and Billy was quick on it, and he knew it. That's a no-doubter. The ball was still going up. Look and a curtain call for Billy. It's awesome.
He muscles up again, but pulls this one foul. Rex, you remember you and I were sitting close together at the All-Star game, and when Billy's name was announced and this place erupted, the All-Star game, of course, at Kauffman Stadium, Billy was the Royals representative, and the place was roaring, and I turned to you and I said, it's going to be tough to hit after this ovation.
No question about it. But when the crowd here at the K, which was jam-packed and couldn't get another body in this place, started chanting Billy Butler, I had my 9-year-old son, my 11-year-old son with me, my daughter, and my 9-year-old started chanting the next morning when he woke up, Billy Butler. He didn't even know Billy coming in, so Billy was very flattered.
It was great to see the Hudler family all dressed in royal blue.
This is just it's a moment that we may not see again here.
You're right. I have a feeling he's going to go to another All-Star game.
And I imagine he'll be in a home run derby as well.
As Jeremy Guthrie tweeted right after he was traded from the Rockies to the Royals, I would have put Billy Butler in the home run derby, and he had fans already here in Kansas City. And then, of course, Jeremy's work has done the rest because he has been marvelous since he was acquired from the Rockies. and he will go tomorrow in a duel with Zach Greinke. Tell you, I got here very early today, and who do I see out running? Jeremy Guthrie. That guy is a workout freak. In there. Butler is gone, so are the Royals, but they do get a run on a base hit by Jason Bourgeois that scores Johnny Giavotella. Armed Forces Day here at the K, presented by the National World War I Museum at Liberty Memorial and Budweiser. Arrive early for a special pregame ceremony honoring our servicemen and women, plus the first 20,000 fans will receive a camouflage KC cap presented by Sport Clips. For tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS.
I hope I get one of those.
You'll get 4.
Thank you.
Here is Bruce Chen. He delivers the first pitch. Looked like a strike, but doesn't get the call from home plate umpire DJ Rayburn. Our umpire rotation has Rayburn at home plate, Ted Barrett first base, Clint Fagan at second, Tim McClellan third base. Good crew. Good curveball, and Ibar takes it for strike. Eric at 284. He has been very hot the last 6 weeks, hitting .350, 25 runs scored.
And he's good against lefties. Switch hitter. He's hitting .325 from the right side of the plate.
But it seems like he's been around forever, and I look down and he's only 28.
No, he's a very talented player, and to get to win a Gold Glove that young is good.
Bunt. Chen gets to it. No.
Okay, that's an excellent bunt there. Whenever you can top it just like that, that's what you want as a bunter, a guy that can run. Bruce, I almost was hoping maybe he would just put that in his pocket, not even try to throw him out, because you're not going to get him. But you know what? Look at Bruce. He's an athlete. 10th year in the major leagues, and he bounces. That's a good play. Now Ibar, he'll rip off a base. He's got 15. He's been caught 4 times. And Bruce, he'll throw over there. If he thinks the guy's going, he'll throw over there 3, 4, 5 times sometimes. And he'll quick pitch.
Got to worry about the man at the plate and Albert Pujols. This is a great situation for the Angels to be in. A speed guy at the plate. A lot of guys look for a fastball with a speed guy at first base. Pujols sends it high and deep to center field. Bourgeois is there to make the catch. Ibar tags and does not go. If Ibar had gone back immediately, Hud, he would have been able to go first and second. But he was still a couple of steps away from first base, having to go back when the catch was made.
Yeah, you know, those plays, you're almost just better off going to second base. If the guy drops it on a play going back, which we see sometimes, if you go to second base and he drops it, now with that speed, you have a chance to score. So, but you're taking a chance of going all the way back to first and tagging up, as what happened to Hosmer in Minnesota when Domet dropped that ball on the run in the gap out there. If he's standing at second, he might have scored.
Torrey Hunter singled his first time up. The Angels have 2 hits, the single by Hunter up the middle and the bunt single by Ibar in this inning. Kansas City has a total of 4 hits. 2 of them left the yard, a home run by Butler and a home run by Moustakas.
I bet you're interested to know how many times Torrey Hunter's hit into a double play.
Yes, I am.
15. Bruce wants to make it 16 right here.
Why is he not a ground ball pitcher?
Because he has a lot of success pitching up in the zone with lack of velocity. He's sneaky fast, and a lot of his pitches, they're not hard enough. Guys elevate him. They can get under him. They can lift him.
So he's trying to mistime their bats and
That's
get
right.
the pop-ups.
Yeah, most pitchers will tell you they try to miss bats.
He has 7 flyouts already in this game, and we are only in the 4th inning.
I mean, for a guy like Bruce to pitch up in the zone, it can be dangerous, is evident by the 29 home runs he's given up. 25 of them off to righties, so it does play against him at times. Short little 3-game road trip for the Angels, and they head back to Southern California, where it's about 103 degrees in Southern California. So for them to come here in the heartland of America, where it's been pretty toasty all year, to get a little cool breeze, they're loving it. I talked to several of the players before the game over there on the Angels side, and they said, wow, we weren't expecting to have fall-like weather here.
Royals don't mind if the Angels sleep well at night and at the yard.
Especially in the batter's box.
And Bruce Chen trying to sing his lullaby with those off-speed pitches that just fade away. Kansas City with the early 3-0 lead. Torrey Hunter takes it inside, ball 4, so he waited out Bruce Chen, and it's time for our Subway Sub-Prize standings. Party standings. Right now, the American League wildcard leader, Oakland and Baltimore, have the edge. New York, of course, is right there because they are tied with Baltimore for first place in the American League East. But more importantly, the Angels are 3.5 games back, and this is a team that many people thought would win the West. They are 7.5 games back of the Texas Rangers in the West.
Yeah, and before the season started, the high-paying, high-flying Angels were expected to do a whole lot more than they're doing. They never expected to be where they are now.
That ball shot to left field. That's a base hit. It will score. Eric Ibar. Hunter is going to be sent home, and he will score, and all of a sudden it is a 3-2 ball game.
Okay, Howie Kendrick came through with a ball up in the zone for his 28th double and his 57th RBI. Okay, it's coming in, short compact swing. He hit it where it's pitched. Now he prefers it out over the plate to go the other way, but he'll take that. Gordon had a slight bobble off the wall there. They might have had a chance to get Hunter, but Slight bobble, but nothing you can do except go to pitching here. Keep it down.
Bunt single, a walk, and finally the double. With one out, Vernon Wells the batter.
Vernon Wells missed a lot of time earlier this season with an injury, and it's showing a little bit offensively for him. He's only a 115 hitter with a runner in scoring position, and that brings up an overall number 259 for the Angels with runners in scoring position. That's not a good mark for a championship team to have offensively. So that ball got both Vernon Wells and Salvador Perez.
So Chen struggling here in the fourth inning.
Hit Salvi's right wrist.
Clipped the forearm, got Salvi's wrist. 2 on, 1 out for Mark Trumbo. Chen had exceptional command the first 3 innings. All of a sudden missing with some pitches in Kansas City, seeing the Angels take advantage of it. Single, a flyout, a walk, a double, now a hit batter, and Trumbo, who has tremendous power with 30 home runs. There's the off-speed pitch, and it is ball 1.
Well, those are the pitches that will bring the ground ball double play. Change-ups, breaking balls down. Get the right-handed batter to roll his hands over and hit a little ground ball is what he's looking for.
Popped up. Will it stay in play for Eric Hosmer? No. The Halos have dropped 3 of their last 4 games, but are 12-4 in their last 16 affairs and 16-6 in their last 22 games. Meantime, the Royals catcher Salvador Perez has already had a painful night.
Earlier, this elbow to the temple here didn't help him at all. By Moose. Salvi ends up catching the ball, and then right here, this pass play here gets one off the wrist and the thigh.
Trumbo got a good pitch to Rip, and he fouled it straight back. He's down in the count 1-2.
Salvador Perez, he's built like a football player, and you can't hurt steel.
But he would be best served if he'd take that right hand and put it behind his back. In the old days, they would catch with 2 hands, and he's keeping it right there.
Good question for you to ask him tomorrow. We'll ask him.
I remember Johnny Bench doing that, and Johnny was so quick at going to the glove, but he had huge hands, and so does Salvi.
But you know, the reason you want that hand right behind the shin guard is because the hand's in play for foul tips, anything like that. And so you want to put that hand right behind your shin guard right there.
Salvi and Bruce came to some disagreement, so they want to talk things out. But we've seen so many foul balls tipped off of hands, broken fingers, broken knuckles.
Yeah, back in the day, you mentioned when they had the hingeless catcher's glove. There's no hinge in it like that one there. Doesn't bend. Guys use 2 hands, and you look at some of the catcher's fingers from the old days, and they're crooked and bent and arthritic and not looking too pretty.
That ball gets away. The runners will advance. And Chen's rough 4th inning continues.
Salvi does an excellent job of blocking balls, but you never know with the little divots that hitters dig there. They dig their feet in. There's footholds, there's toe holes, there's all kinds, and sometimes it kicks up and doesn't exactly line up with the catcher. But that takes him out of the double play right here.
Trumbo barely foul. This season's series is tied at 3 wins each. Kansas City won 2 of 3 in Anaheim to open the season and lost 2 of 3 in late July. And we saw how close Trumbull was. So Chen really needs to make a quality pitch here on 3 and 2.
He needs a strikeout.
And he got him. At 90 miles an hour, his best heater of the night.
How about Bruce getting some 90 on the gun? That'll be good for his ego. That's the way to reach back. Leveraging your lower half in your delivery, and nice over the top, straight 4-seam fastball.
Well, you know Bruce is not about ego, particularly when it comes to his fastball. Remember that situation last year where he gave T-shirts to clubhouse staff and pitchers, and on the T-shirt it said, "My fastball 83 by you." He is comfortable in his own skin. On that subject, get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Bruce Chen, freeze that. Wait a second, it says 89. We should have a 90 up there, Hud.
I thought that he had.
Oh, man, that's not
I
fair.
think they're cutting him short 1 mile an hour.
That ball struck to right field, trouble. Base hit. And this will give the Angels the lead as the throw to the plate is not in time. It's 4-3 Angels.
Okay, that's a timely hit. One of the things that's been missing from the Angels this year has been clutch hitting. We talked about the fact they're only hitting .259 as a team with runners in scoring position. The formula for winning consistently: good starting pitching, good defense, and timely hitting. That's a nice hit there by Cayaspo, who's having a good game.
Chen unable to stay away from the big inning. He hurt himself by walking Torrey Hunter and then hitting Vernon Wells. Both have now scored, and that is the difference in the game. The 8th Angel to bat. Nothing in 2. This has been an uphill climb all year long for the Angels. They added the superstar, our Pujols, and all-star pitcher C.J. Wilson in the offseason. And look at that, a beautiful curveball on the outside corner by Bruce Chen to get Chris Iannetta. by Panera Bread. And by AT Uverse. AT&T, rethink possible. The Angels with a 4-3 lead. Kansas City was up 3-0, and then the Angels scored 4 runs, sending 8 men to the plate in the 4th inning. Now bottom 4 we go, and Salvador Perez will lead things off against C.J. Wilson, who has his first lead. His record this year 12-9 with a 3.69 ERA. C.J. has won 3 straight since compiling an 11-game winless streak. Salvador grounded out his first time up. Checks his swing on one that's low, and it's 1-1.
Salvi, I'm glad to see him stay in the game after that elbow boost Moose gave him to the temple. That was a shot.
In the air to center field, Mike Trout. 1 out. The hits are easy. Both teams with 4 hits. The Angels now with a 4-3 lead in game 1 of this 3-game series. Guthrie, Greinke go tomorrow. Smith and Herron on Sunday. And here is Mike Moustakas. Got a low fastball and drove it over the right center field wall his first time up. That was home run number 20.
He's a star in the making. Mike Moustakas, Southern California young man. Hey, that's a little sidearm drop down. Okay, C.J. Wilson, he executed what he thought was a pretty good pitch. Now, that was out of the plate, but it was down, but Moose lifted it. It's a nice stroke. A lot of guys that are young, that don't have the experience, don't know how to lift a low pitch. They'll roll over it and hit a ground ball. Well, that's nice there. He's lifted it up. Took out a 7-iron and shot it over the wall.
Wilson, being a little more careful in this at bat, has fallen behind 3 balls and no strikes. There's 3-1, and he has been so tough versus left-handed batters. Back in the count, full at 3-2.
Yeah, that home run Moose hit was just the 3rd given up to a left-hander by Wilson.
Wilson has thrown 63 pitches. 41 have been strikes. 22 have missed. And then he sweeps one away from Moustakas and strikes him out. Hey, Royals fans, do not miss your chance to personally meet pitcher Greg Holland. Holland will sign autographs at Kansas Sampler in Lenexa tomorrow from 11 a.m. till noon. And for more information on upcoming Royals events, visit royals.com/community. There is Greg Holland. He's been terrific in the role as the Royals closer. 13 saves since Jonathan Broxton was traded to Cincinnati. Jeff Francoeur comes up and fouls off the first pitch to him, strike 1.
It's only human.
Well, you're talking about yesterday.
That's right. Holland.
I was letting it go. It was his first blown save since taking over for Broxton.
Well, we got to talk about how hard the league is. I mean, look, you know, Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer ever in baseball, and he gives up 4 or 5 a year. So, look, you know, it's not that easy. The hitter's, he's looking for a fastball out over, and sometimes he gets it.
Moustakas sends one up the middle, backhanded by Kendrick. Royals go quietly in the 4th. Angels lead by 1.
always fun to see all the different player and pitchers of the year at all the different levels. And Joel Goldberg up here right now, joined by Colin Rogers, who played with Bubba Starling, who we heard from in the pregame show in Burlington. Nice, successful year, first year in the professional ball for the lefty here. What was your first year of pro ball like after just graduating from high school?
It was a real different transition going from high school and then the next month pitching professional baseball. But I adjusted to it pretty fast, and I really enjoyed our season. We had a really good season. It didn't end the way we hoped, but overall we had a great season. We had a great bunch of guys on our team.
I know that from hearing the reports, and yeah, it didn't end exactly where you wanted, but you guys were there in the playoffs down to the end, that there were some serious hitters on that team. And I know that you're a pitcher, but seeing guys like Bubba and all the guys that surrounded him, how much talent is there at the lower level here?
We have a great bunch of talent. We had Bubba, Leonard, Ford, and a bunch of other guys that really carried us through.
What about being here? Like I mentioned, you were drafted in the 3rd round back in June, and now here you are catching a game. You were here earlier in the year. Is it surreal? Does it make you think about the future a little bit?
Yeah, it's real exciting. Hopefully I'll be out there one day, but we'll never know, but I hope so. I hope I do.
So what is it like going from one day pitching in high school, and the next minute there you are playing professional baseball?
It's really different. The first time I went out there, I was real nervous because, even though we were playing an exhibition game, it's just my first day out on the mound. 1 month later, pitching professional baseball, it was unreal.
Final thing for you, I know this is something really neat that they do every single year. Get a chance to get out and visit some kids at the hospital, go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. What was that experience like for you today?
It was great. We got to go visit some of the cancer patients, and we visited with them a little bit, gave them some of our cards, gave them some hats, and talked with them a little bit, and that was fun. And then Bob gave us a tour on the Negro Leagues Museum, and that was really fun. He was really into it, and I learned a lot from it.
Well, glad you're able to get back into town. Congratulations on the season, and we look forward to following your progress over the years, and hope to see you here at Kaufman one day soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is Colin Rogers, and what a great experience for him and all of these young guys. We're going to see there's a bunch more other pitchers and players up here, and we're going to see if we can catch up with a couple more in just a little bit, guys.
Joel, thank you very much. And the Royals honoring their minor league award winners today. Excused, of course, are Will Myers and Jake Odorizzi because their AAA Omaha team is in the PCL playoffs against Reno. This ball is lifted foul.
I can relate to that young man right there. It was 1980. I was just 19, 20 years old, and there was a strike that year in baseball. And the Yankees called down to the minor leagues, and they brought up just a certain few guys to play in Yankee Stadium to play some of the regulars to keep them in shape. And I'll never forget getting that call and going to Yankee Stadium, playing, actually getting a chance. Now, these guys are just here to watch, but to get out there and to play on the field was really special. So these young players they have goosebumps all over them. And this is what I commend the organization for, feeding the fire, putting a couple other logs on and burning it. These kids want to get here. So stoke that fire, bring them up here, let them see a little taste of it.
And I like the way they were dressed. All of them in suits. Looked very professional.
Got that right. Royals have a first-class minor league organization. And it's a matter of time before we see some of these youngsters here.
Ibar reached for that one after Mike Trout struck out against Bruce Chen. Ibar with a 3-2 count. He started the trouble for Bruce in the 4-run fourth. Meantime, the minor leaguers came in and were by the backstop, and all of the Royals went over to shake their hands, which I thought was really cool. And guys like Salvador Perez shook everybody's hand. Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur. But Christian Colon knows so many of them because he played with them. And Colon, obviously a former first-round pick, and he played with Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas. And Colon was telling me he is very excited. He came off of an injury where he fouled a ball off of the orbit of his eye. And that ball stroked up the middle, and Ibar is on for the second time. So the pest gets on again for the Halos. And Colon said, Rex, he is going to be playing in winter ball for Puerto Rico. And he said he's really looking forward to it. And you know how valuable that can be.
Oh, yeah. any extra experience. Now that ball's on the outer half, but it was up. Ibar leaned right into it. He taxed a few pitches from Bruce as well.
Cologne said he wished he was with the Omaha team in the playoffs right now, but he needs to rest that eye and get ready for winter ball. Here is Pujols. He is 0 for 2, popping to left, flying to center. And Albert has always hit well at the K in his career. .379 average with 13 home runs.
Talking about the dress of these young men, when they all came out there in nice suits, ties, all buttoned up, you know, that was impressive. But my first spring training with the Royals this year as a broadcaster, I went down to their minor league facilities down there, and I watched them every day for a week. And I wanted to see what the nuts and bolts look like, because that's your organization. That's where your strength comes from. And I went out there looking for somebody that stood out, maybe somebody that was different, and I couldn't find him. And there's 200 guys out there, all had their pants bloused, showing royal blue. I didn't see any guys with long hair, any earrings, or any jewelry hanging off their necks. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what it told me was the Royals run the show here, not the players. There's some uniform, there's continuity, there's discipline. You need all that.
As we take a look at Albert Pujols and his jewelry.
Now, he can do what he wants now, but when you're in the minor leagues, by golly, you're going to do it our way. You become a big leaguer, then you can do what you want. But some teams do have rules at the big league level. I mean, as far as, you know, jewelry and facial hair, New York Yankees, you know, they don't like any of that. But when you're one of the greatest hitters in the world, you can do what you want.
World champion with the St. Louis Cardinals. And he wanted to know what the count is, and it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the scoreboard, it read 1 and 2. But our Fox box operator, absolutely perfect, had it correct at 2 and 2. Down the line. We told you that Pujols, who grew up, well, actually, he grew up back home on the islands, but he came to the States and was in Fort Osage, and then went to Pem Day. Royals had a chance to draft him. St. Louis got him, but for some reason he loves coming back to Kauffman Stadium.
Those are some pretty beastly numbers. Those are all first in each category for the opponents.
First in every single category now. 32 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. Line foul. Rex, what makes him such a good hitter?
Well, confidence mainly, but you know what, though, before the confidence came, the mechanics had to be there. But the fact that he utilizes the whole field, he's dangerous to right, center, left, and he's always been a gap-to-gap hitter. But he has the ability to stay patient and wait back. And he understands the art of relaxing, being loose. Look at his fingers. Watch his fingers on the bat. Very loose. You can see him coming up. He doesn't have a tight grip, and he has a very steady balance stance. Just missed another one.
Bourgeois pulls it down. Ibar tags and goes, and he will make it safely to second base. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Joined by another couple of players, a player and a pitcher, Whit Merrifield, who finished his year at AA, but the Wilmington Player of the Year. Sam Selman, the Pitcher of the Year for Idaho Falls. And Whit, let's talk to you, not too far removed from playing your college ball at South Carolina. What has this experience been like today and this season for you, too?
It's been incredible. It really has been. It's my first time at Kaufman, and I can't say enough about this place. And we sat down and sat on autographs for a while, and they had to stop the line because we had to get down on the field. People were just filing through. Fans have been awesome, and it really has been a great experience.
Well, Sam, for you, just drafted a few months back. We were talking with Colin Rogers. He's a lefty. You're a lefty. But you and I were talking pitcher of the year at Idaho Falls, and you look out there and you see Billy Butler, and his career began at Idaho Falls.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see all the players in Idaho Falls, all their posters hang up along the home plate. And it's just cool to see that these guys once came through the same steps that we took. And it's kind of just really inspiring just to see them out here today playing for the professional Royals. So it's just really inspirational.
I was asking Colin before about the difference between high school ball and then going into professional ball. How about for you going from Vanderbilt into playing in the minor leagues?
It's a lot different, but at the same time, you got to try to keep it the same. That way, there's not very much change in it, and you kind of just keep the same mentality going into it. That way, there's not very much difference, especially as a pitcher.
Well, the Baseball America Rookie Pitcher of the Year, Sam, named today. Whit, as for you, you've seen all this talent now over the last couple of years coming through the system. Then you get up here, you say, first time ever at Kaufman Stadium. How much does that start making you think a little bit about that dream?
You get antsy because you see guys that you play with in spring training, and you see guys that have been where you are not too long ago, and they're here now. So it motivates you, and it gives you kind of a realization that you're close, and this is the time where you work harder, and you do what you can on the field, and then hopefully you catch some breaks, and you're up here before too long.
Not to mention the fact that this Royals team is so young, so when you look at guys like Moustakas and Hosmer, you see how young they are and maybe not too far off. Guys, congratulations on great years. Whit Merrifield, Sam Selman, looking forward to many, many good years and seeing you here at Kaufman Stadium. We have more baseball coming up from Kaufman Stadium as the Angels lead the Royals here in KC.
American League for most valuable player, and he has just turned 21. A great future for this young man out of New Jersey. He'll go back to center field now as the Royals will send up Eric Hosmer, Johnny Giavotella, and Jason Bourgeois here in inning number 5. Hosmer popped up to short his first time up. The pitch is knocked back to Wilson, and he gets it over to Pujols. Well, Rex Hudler talked with Mike Scioscia about the success and the future of Mike Trout.
What Mike has to do to be put in that class is stand the test of time, and he needs to do it year in and year out like those great players have. What he's doing now has just been tremendous. He can do things on a baseball field that I don't know if we've seen guys in our generation do. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch as he keeps growing. But to be put in the class of Ricky Henderson, Mickey Mantle, all the names, Willie Mays, all the names that have been thrown around. Mike needs to do it over the test of time, and that's what we hope we'll see.
Mike Trout is the first major league player, first major league rookie with at least 25 home runs and 45 stolen bases in a season. He is the youngest player, Rex, to steal 40 bases since Ty Cobb in 1907 did it at the age of 21.
Well, you know, back earlier in the season, we had a nice little round table with the great Joe Goldberg, and you think you were a part of that, Ryan, and we were all standing in Detroit and talked about who's going to be the MVP, and I said Mike Trout. Now, he'd only been here a month or so, and some of you guys looked at me like I was, what? And I said, this kid has an explosive package, man. He can do it all. There's nothing he can't do. Don't be surprised.
Giavotella strikes out. So we will ask our fans the question, who would you vote for most valuable player? Would you vote for Mike Trout? This is the Sprint You Call It. Text 432-432 and enter the keyword Royals. Miguel Cabrera of Detroit, Josh Hamilton. Marvelous season for Texas. Derek Jeter of the Yankees, or Mike Trout of the Angels.
Why wouldn't you include Derek Jeter in that conversation there?
Well, I'm going to go with Miguel Cabrera. I still think Detroit is going to win the Central, and if they do, Cabrera is going to be the guy.
Well, look at Hamilton got a blazing start. Now he's coming back. He had a little lull in the middle of the season. He's coming back, but I'm going to go back to my original choice for Mike Trout. He'll be like Freddie Lynn, Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year.
Meantime, Wilson has retired 8 straight Royals.
Now, do you think that they'll vote on him for a Gold Glove and center?
I think they'll vote on him.
No, I mean, you think he'll get it?
I don't know.
You know, they give them to each individual position now. They don't just give them for outfielders. You know, Gordon probably has a lock. He's a perennial guy. He's going to get in left, and you got to get Trout's going to be up there with all these great catches and his speed and his athleticism, the way he makes diving plays. And then right field, I can't think of who would be the guy now.
Well, he certainly has been on just about every single highlight show, and he has that vertical leap that is almost 40 inches. And it's shown right here as he takes a home run away from a Chicago White Sox.
Well, you know, I mean, the guy, he's athletic and quick, so he can get back to the wall. He's a young Torrey Hunter as far as the center fielder goes.
Torrey might be the best I have seen. Willie Wilson, outstanding as well for these Kansas City Royals back in the 70s and 80s.
Right, and the only reason we don't see Willie Wilson on highlight catches like that is because the wall here at the K was too tall. You can't jump and rob a home run here.
He sure was great going to the alleys, though.
Did you ever see him go first to home?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, my mouth dropped when I saw Willie Wilson take off. And when I watched the dirt from his cleats fall on the ground, and he was already 90 feet by the dirt clods. It's amazing.
Yeah, Danny Matthews says it was amazing how he would actually pick up speed from second to third and then third to home, where you go, I thought he was already at top speed and it'd keep on roaring.
Watch him from the third base dugout at ground level. Seeing him round second base with a left turn was impressive. Him and Willie McGee are the quickest I've ever seen in my time.
Bourgeois might be going. The Royals really pushing the pedal to the metal, and he does go, and Iannetta doesn't have a chance, and that is a stolen base for Jason Bourgeois. It's the Royals' second steal of the game. They now have 119 this year. That's fourth most in the American League.
Okay, that was a pocket ball. Iannetta saw it. He goes, you know what? Just put that in my pocket. There's no chance. See him drag his gait, the left hand. That's why you wear a shin guard, or sometimes guys wear their batting gloves in their hand to try to stay away from dragging it. That's why Bourgeois has the batting gloves in his hands.
Escobar down in the count 0-2. Twice he is grounded out to third.
Even though he dragged his hand behind, he tries not to, and that because that jams your wrist. I always wanted batting gloves on when I was on the bases, keep him from getting cut.
That shot down the left field line. Foul!
Left the bat, I thought that was going to land fair. A little bit too much of his top hand on that bat.
The Royals inches away from tying this game at 4 and having Escobar in scoring position for Alex Gordon. Excellent speed at second in Bourgeois. He has singled and walked in his return to the big leagues, called up today from AAA.
0-2, Wilson can't be too good or he could get hurt. Good pitch.
He strikes him out, strikes out a pair of Royals in the inning. We head to the 6th. KC and Wilson by 1.
Joined right now by the Burlington Player of the Year, Bubba Starling, and you're the guy that doesn't have to go too far to get here to the stadium. With all that said, how much fun has this day been to be around all these other minor leaguers?
Oh, it's been lots of fun. Getting to play with Colin out in Burlington, too, it's been nice, but getting to meet some of these other guys, too, it's been cool. I live 45 minutes probably from the stadium, so myself, my family, and some other family members got to come up to the game, and we're having fun so far.
It seems like just yesterday you were here after signing, and it was crazy that day, and there was so much media attention. It's been a little bit less of a whirlwind.
Yeah, it seemed like last year I was darting around, going different places, and I just kind of get to enjoy it with my family right now before I head off tomorrow for Instructs.
Jeff Rancourt is going to get back and make the catch. And that is a ball that you'll be going back on hopefully many a times here at Kauffman Stadium. I know still a little ways to go, but how much do you dream about that day when you're able to take the field here at your home stadium?
Quite a bit. I just stepped out earlier before the game, and I got chills just stepping on the field, getting announced and everything in front of my hometown crowd. So, hopefully soon, just got to work hard and see what happens from there.
What's the biggest thing you learned this year, playing first full year of professional baseball?
Probably just the grind of it, getting up every day and playing, and doing everything at full pace. That competition is really good. So I got a lot better throughout the season, and some of the coaches, they were really they did a good job with me.
Got to think too that one of the things you learned was sort of how to handle the attention as we see Escobar make that play for the second out. Because I remember in spring training, no matter where you walk, there might be 100 other guys, big league or minor leagues, that will be walking from the complex back to the clubhouse and you'd be signing autographs 10, 15, 20 minutes. What was it like adjusting to that and handling that?
I mean, it got kind of crazy here and there, but it was fun interacting with all the fans and getting to see some fans, some Bubba fans too. It was pretty cool. But spring training, then transitioning out to Burlington, just getting to interact with all the people and have them there cheering for you was pretty nice. So.
All right, so what about being here? And again, you were here last year. You grew up coming here. But just as a fan, you may know more about these players than anybody else that's here today because you grew up watching them in high school. How much of you is just a fan?
Oh, big fan. Considering, I'm close here in town, and I'll always come to games, watch games on TV. Whether I was fishing, coming back from fishing, or doing something like that outside, I come in and finish watching the game or see the start of it. And big fan of all the guys. Can't wait, hopefully soon, and some of these other guys too, to get up there with them. One
thing that just freaked me out is a couple of the other guys were saying, and Billy Butler hit his 100th career home run. They were saying, man, Billy's one of the older guys here. Old? I view Billy as being a young guy. Of course, you've seen his whole career.
Yeah, it's like, they thought he looked kind of older. I don't know who it was, but I said, get up close, man. He has kind of a baby face. But, no, Billy's been doing well. Hit a bomb earlier in the game, so that was kind of cool to see.
All right, what are the goals? You said you're going to Instructs tomorrow. What are the goals before you shut it down and rest for a little bit?
No, just keep playing hard. Like I said, keep learning. I'm going to have individual, probably coaching out there, so that'll be nice. I won't have, one coach and 10 other guys there. So I'll get to learn quite a bit of stuff again. And just like I said, looking forward to keep playing baseball.
And final thing, we asked you this on the pregame show, but what about the experience of getting out to the hospital today and the Negro Leagues Museum?
It was nice. I met a little boy named Parker, and he's going to go to Rockhurst next year. He plays baseball, middle infielder. Kind of learned a lot about him, but it's fun interacting with all the people there, and but for sure Parker. So
great to have you back here, and enjoy the off season. I know doing some hunting and fishing and all that good stuff with your dad, and looking forward to following the career and seeing you back at spring training next season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that is Bubba Starling, just in time for the catch from Eric Hosmer to retire the side. 4-3 is the score with the Royals coming to the plate here at Kauffman Stadium.
To you by Miller Lite. We're having a cold one for Billy Butler, who hit number 100 in his Royals career. Gave KC a 1-0 lead. We got a curtain call from the fans at the K. And he will bat second in this inning. First, it is Alex Gordon. The sixth, of course, is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Carl Reed from Independence. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Carl will win $900. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Carl will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Gordon with 11 home runs this year. He is 0 for 2.
Okay, C.J. Wilson, ever since the early innings here where the Royals got 2 in the second and 1 in the third, he's kind of settled down, and he's really mixing them well. He's throwing strikes. He's got his good little slider, hit cutter, working in on righties, and he's sweeping and taking a little bit more off of his pitch to lefties, that curveball. But another thing I'm noticing Wilson doing is he's altering his arm angle. He's dropping down a little bit. That's a little bit more creative, and it's a little more deception.
He's retired 9 of his last 10. No hits since Bourgeois in the third. And Alex Gordon eyeballed that one perfectly, and a lead-off walk with Butler and Perez and Moustakas coming up. Not the thing that CJ wanted to do. So Mike Scioscia is coming out.
That's it for Wilson. And he didn't give him much leash, did he?
Well, this is the part you want to get to, because the Angels bullpen has not been that sharp this year. But right now, they will hand that bullpen the baseball as our Chevy call to the bullpen in a tight game in KC has the Angels up by 1. Mike Scioscia got him out for a right-hander, Garrett Richards, to face the right-handed swinging Billy Butler.
Well, Wilson might have thought that he got the early hook, but Scioscia, he's smart. A hot-hitting Billy Butler, left-handed pitchers, Billy's raking. He hit 340 with 11 homers off of lefties, so he brings in Richards, who can mix it up a little bit. Got a good hard fastball, mid to uppers. We'll see some 97 from him. He tries to sink his fastball at times, and he's got a slider, but he's got a power arm.
Billy takes strike 1 from Garrett Richards. The last time the Angels were at the K was June of 2011, and Billy Butler hit the game-winning walk-off home run. June 2011. Kansas City was down to the Angels, and this is a team the Angels had torn apart the Royals for so many years, but Kansas City has won 10 of the last 16 versus the Angels, and they hope to do that this weekend. Let's go back to June 2011.
June 1st to be specific. Look at that one. Belt high fastball. Butler knows what to do with those. They had to check it out. Billy says, look at that. That's a walk-off.
It took him that long to get around the bases. The umpires had to check to make sure.
He had plenty of time to plan his celebration.
Hit to Kendrick. They drop the baseball. Everybody's safe. Gordon went in hard. But if Ibar catches the ball, I believe Gordon is out at second base.
Yes, I agree with you, Fizz, but you know what? That's a forced play. Howie, he's a good second baseman, but you got to get outs here in the city. With nobody out, you got to get outs. So take the easy out at first base and leave him at second. Outs are more important here. It's a little bit of a mental mistake there by the second baseman, Kendrick.
Well, Garrett Richards has a fastball, Rex, that bores in on right-handers, and he got that one in on Butler. But no one handles the inside pitch better than this man, Salvador Perez.
Well, Royals with runners in scoring position have been really good lately. They've been nails, but the first two pitches that Richards threw Billy Butler were very hittable pitches. You got to be ready early. Threw him a fastball right down the middle at 95, and then a slider that hung right over the plate, and Billy took both of them. So Salvador Perez, his approach is Kevin Seitzer-like. He's their hitting coach, a very successful hitting coach, because he keeps his guys focused towards the middle of the field. More hits, more holes are in the middle than when you try to pull. You make more outs.
Hit well to center field. Trout, though, back there, makes the catch, tagging at second Gordon. The throw will be to second base, and Alex now representing the tying run at third base, where a fly ball can tie this game at 4.
Okay, that ball was well struck, but a young center fielder sometimes will take the bait on the guy tagging up when you got a good arm like Trout, but he says, no, I'm going to keep the double play in order. That's a good play.
Mike Scioscia had no one up in the bullpen, no left-hander to face Mike Moustakas, so it will be the right-hander Garrett Richards, who has been so good out of the pen recently. His last 7 outings, he has given up just 4 hits and 23 at-bats. That's a 174 average. Moose looking to get one in the air to at least tie the game. Down low, ball 1. Wilson started the inning but walked the leadoff batter Gordon. Mike Scioscia took out Wilson, brought in Richards. Butler reached. Perez is flied out. Gordon taking third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Richards, born in Riverside, California, but raised in Edmond, Oklahoma. He was an Oklahoma Sooner. It should be deep enough. Gordon tags. The throw will go to second, and Kansas City has tied it 4-4.
All right, productive out by Salvador Perez to get Gordon to tag from second base. Gets him over there to third base with less than 2 outs, and Moose gets the job done. See him leaving there? Vernon Wells had no chance.
Jeff Francoeur 0 for 2, twice grounding out to second base. Jeff has had some solid seasons in his past. Twice he has gone over 100 RBIs in his career, both times with the Atlanta Braves, and then had a solid season for the Royals last year, but this year it has been a struggle. Just 38 driven in, and he swings and misses at the Richards offering, and the count is 1-1.
Okay, now Frenchie knows less is more. He's had a tough year, no doubt, but largely because he swings too hard and his swings too long and he's not able to catch it. But he has a chance to get this, to get Richards if he can stay short to the ball.
Most teams have been trying to tie up Jeff inside. He's a tall guy, 6 feet 5 inches tall. They bore inside with the fastball or sometimes use the breaking ball inside.
They do, but you know what? The problem is that Jeff's been trying to swing his way out of his slump every at bat. You can't do that. You kind of keep it simple, and that's like
he hits that one well. That's deep. That's gone.
That is a short, compact, powerful swing. Okay, 2 strikes on him, keep in mind. Waiting for a mistake by Richards, who's been giving him a couple good pitches to hit. Look at the head position. Love how his head position was on there, and that ball was not walking. That's a big league liner.
Kansas City back in front 6-4, and here is Eric Hosmer. And that means $900, Rex, for Carl Reed from Independence, Missouri. You can party with your friends tonight, Carl.
Call the cops, Carl. You just ripped them off, man. Way to go. Courtesy of Frenchie.
Kendrick gets Hosmer, but a batter too late as first to sacrifice fly ties it. Then Jeff Francoeur with his 13th home run of the year. Boom! 6-4 KC. Your Midwest Ford dealer, and by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg with you at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, where Jeff Francoeur just lit up the night on a Fireworks Friday. We've seen three big flies tonight. And here we go, bottom of the order, Bruce Chen in his 7th inning of work. He will go against Callaspo, Iannetta, and Mike Trout. Callaspo had the big hit for Los Angeles back in the 4th inning when he knocked in 2 runs on a flare to right field. That sent the Angels into the lead, but KC came back with 3 in their half of the 6th, and they are now up by 2.
Fizz, you know, when we talked Francoeur into hitting that home run,
did we?
He had a nice long at bat. You know, we were talking about what he hadn't been doing, what he really needs to do, and it's like on cue. He got that fastball right down the middle, and he hit the back underside just enough to get it over that wall out there in left field.
Curveball hit to short. Escobar, he's got to make a snappy play, and he does just in time. 1 out.
What a pleasure to see this on a nightly basis. If it's not Escobar, it's Moose. Could be Hosmer, Salvi, Gordon.
Hey parents, sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew by U.S. Toy to be part of the fun all year long. Members receive a batting practice jersey, backpack, water bottle, ticket vouchers, front of the line access for every Sunday fun run, and much more. Membership is just $20. Join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew or by going to the U.S. Toy Store in Leawood, Kansas. Chris Iannetta, the batter. Chen has fallen behind 2-0. Tries to jam him with a fastball, but misses. It's 3 balls and no strikes. This is a important time in the game for Kansas City. Chen does get the cut fastball across, and it's 3-1 because if you get a man on, then all of a sudden the difficult guys come up. Mike Trout is next, then Eric Ibar, he's been hot, and then Albert Pujols. Iannetta gets on with a base hit. Gordon backhands and likely will hold Chris to a single. A lot of guys would go for 2 bases, but everybody respects Alex Gordon's arm. And that takes us to Mike Trout. We told you, leading the American League in batting, stolen bases, and runs scored, having a fantastic season. And our sprint you call it question earlier tonight was who should be the MVP, and right now the majority of the voters say Mike Trout, 35%, with Cabrera of the Tigers at 30%. Trout has been tied up by Bruce Chen. Twice he has struck him out, and sometimes the soft tossers, the veterans, will get to the younger hitters, and Salvi Perez, knowing that Trout is one of the most dangerous hitters in the game, he comes out for a visit with Bruce.
Well, you know, Trout is only human. You see his numbers he's putting up, and we've been talking about him until nauseam. I mean, you know what, the guy, but he deserves all the love we're giving him, but he has grounded into 7 double plays this year. Okay? So if he hits one,
despite his speed.
That's right. If he hits one right at him, they got a chance to get out of the inning. And I think Salvi was talking about that. We're better off staying off speed and down with Trout.
Lewis Coleman has started to warm in the Kansas City pen. Base hit left field. First and second, 1 out. And here comes Ned Yost.
Bruce doing a fine job for facing a powerful home run hitting team like the Angels. See that short quick swing there right by Escobar. You know, she should get a nice ovation.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on Lewis Coleman as Kansas City trying to protect a 6-4 lead. 2 to Chicago and Minnesota, so they bring on Lewis Coleman in this situation. He has a 4.09 ERA, but he's holding batters to a 197 average over his last 17 outings. He will face Ibar right now and then Pujols next. But if he can get Ibar and a ground out, and that is what Ned Yost is hoping for, a ground ball struck right at perhaps Escobar, and they can get 2.
In order for Lewis Coleman to impress Ned Yost, this is a big situation here. Stay on the corners with your fastball. And he's got a nice sweeping slider he uses as his out pitch.
Strike 1. Coleman was really solid out of the bullpen last year with a 2.87 ERA and 64 strikeouts in 59 2/3. This season he spent part of the time in Omaha, the rest of the year with the big league Royals. 2 on, 1 out. Ibar takes it down low and inside. The inning started with Callaspo grounding out. Iannetta then singled on a 3-1 pitch. Trout singled. Yost lifted his starting pitcher Chen, and it's Coleman against Ibar. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, low and in.
Hey, but he's trying to get him to swing over the top of it and hit into his 11th double play. Now with Hosmer off of Trout at first base, Trout can get an extra 2 or 3 steps. Now if you're a middle infielder for the Royals, Escobar or Giavitelli, you might be a little bit nervous, but you got to, hey look, get rid of that ball quickly because he's a hard ball player. He's coming after you.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
I used to love getting a lead with the first baseman off of me. I could get 3 more steps, and I'm looking right at that shortstop and second baseman. I'm gonna break up the double play for sure, especially when you got Trout's kind of speed.
He is hit into a double play just 10% of the time, but Coleman is a ground ball pitcher. Almost all of his pitches, fastball, breaking ball, dip down. Base hit. The Angels reclaim the lead. They will hold Trout at third.
Now Dino Evo, he's an excellent third base coach. Okay, he's very successful and has been so for several years. But I believe that Trout could have scored on that.
That's why I thought he would, and they were going to take the lead, but they held him up with Albert Pujols coming up.
When Coleman came in, I said you got to stay out of the middle, keep your fastballs on the corners and keep your sliders down, and he gave him a cookie right down the middle. Got to be really fine with your stuff.
So the Royals still lead by 1, and they will intentionally walk Albert Pujols to get to Torrey Hunter. Kansas City with a 1-run lead at 6-5. They're trying to set up that double play with Torrey Hunter coming up. The pressure certainly on the Angels. They're coming off a series against the Oakland Athletics where they lost 3 of 4 games, and they are now 3.5 games back of the wild card.
Okay, so Torrey Hunter, he's the leader of this team and also drives the bus. He's got a .326 average with runners in scoring position, and he knows what to do. Try to focus in the middle and wait for the mistake.
Rex, we have to talk about it, but usually in these situations it's Aaron Crow or Kelvin Herrera setting up Greg Holland, but those guys used a lot on this road trip.
Coleman's reliable when he's hitting his spots. That's what Ned's expecting him to do. It's impossible to go with the same relievers every single night. You got to use the rest of the guys out there. Lewis can do it if he keeps one down. Torrey's 3 for 7 this year with the bases full. 10 ribbies.
Nothing in 2.
Hey, see, he sweeps that slider. That's a pitch you probably come up with here. He can be very effective. Stay out of the middle. Game's on the line here in the 7th.
Bases are loaded with Trout at third, Ibar second, Pujols first.
There it is. Going right after him, not wasting a pitch, staying on the inner half. It surprised Torrey. Torrey thought the slider was coming. I can tell you that. Too close to take with 2 strikes and the sack's full. Torrey Hunter knows it, but even the best got to go sometimes.
He is not out of the woods yet because another dangerous right-handed hitter is at the plate in Howie Kendrick. And this team has really been strong. They have been #1 in all of Major League Baseball in batting, on base percentage, runs scored since the beginning of June. Kendrick takes another fastball that knifes the outside corner. It's 0-2. Tried the slider. Great block by Perez, or this game is tied at 6.
Okay, now look at Salvi. Not afraid to miss down there low when you got him back there. So he might try to go with that again. Howie's going to be really short with his swing like he always is with 2 strikes.
Struck him out.
Excellent job in the clutch. Lewis Coleman says, I could do it too, Ned.
Replay. Jeff Francoeur lit up the night. This gave the Royals a 6-4 lead. The Angels scored 1 to make it 6-5, and that's where we are in the bottom of the 7th inning. Hope to see Jeff bat in this inning.
I'll tell you what, these Royals, they'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in baseball. They're confident. They never quit. They keep coming. They have energy, and they make plays.
Johnny Giavotella takes a first pitch from Garrett Richards for strike 1. Giavotella has doubled and scored. He has struck out. Kansas City with 6 runs on 5 hits. The Angels have 5 on 8. Johnny to left field. Vernon Wells will take care of Giavotella. And there's 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rex, when the game started, we talked about how the Royals had to take on the likes of the Angels, the Tigers, the White Sox, 12 of the final 19 games. And those teams know they were in for a fight when they came into the cave.
Yeah, like we said in our open, the Royals aren't going anywhere, and they don't get too excited, although they are excited to play baseball. But they don't look too far ahead. Ned has them on a focus of a day-to-day grind, and I like the fact that Ned Yost this year has played to win, even though they had 2 bad spells, the losing streak early, the 6 wins in July. Those were 2 setbacks, not counting all the injuries the team had to go through early. He has the focus and has them focused on winning day to day.
They have proven they will be a test for the most difficult of opponents. They are 17-12 the last month against the teams that have been leading their divisions. They swept the Tigers. They swept the Chicago White Sox. Most recently in Chicago, they took 2 of 3 from the Sox. Good count for Jason Bourgeois, who's one of the faster Royals. He walked, stole a base back in the 5th. Ibar's going to have to make a strong throw, and Bourgeois beats it out. Infield hit for Jason. Looks like Ibar's back foot slipped a little bit, Hud.
Sure did. That makes a difference in a game of inches. Let's see a speedy runner like that. Even had he not slipped, he still might have beaten it. Look at him. It's off to the races. He's quick. So now Escobar has a lot of different weapons. We talked about it and we've seen it. Will he decide to bunt? Callaspo is pretty good over there at third base. He's playing in. Or he could slap it, or they could hit and run here. With 1 out, it's ideal to hit and run. Because if it's successful, you move Bourgeois all the way to third base with less than 2, a chance to score him. And if you send Bourgeois, keeps you out of the double play if he does hit one on the ground. Now that's where it's important for the shortstop. Ibar will tell the pitcher who he's working with on a ball that comes back to him, and he uses a sign to his second baseman to let him know who's covering on the steal attempt.
We have seen several times this year a runner break. Escobar just basically throw his bat at the baseball and roll it through the hole right side.
That's right. Ideally, you want that ball to go right there.
Bourgeois goes, and the pitch is swung on and driven down the left side.
Okay.
Well, that was different, but he had a pitch inside.
It was a hit and run. There it was. We set that up. But so the hitter's designed hit and run to swing at anything. You got to swing at it no matter where. And he swinging that ball. If he didn't swing, that would have hit him.
He almost looked like a right-handed Vic Davalillo.
Hey, look, if he doesn't, you want the hitter to make contact.
Davalillo almost fell down every time he swung the bat. Bourgeois does not go this time, and it's 1-1. Mike Scioscia really controls the running game very well, and we've seen him pitch out on perfect opportunities, and he may here on 1-1. Missed inside. The Angels added the superstar Albert Pujols, who's at first base. They added the all-star pitcher C.J. Wilson in the offseason. They added all-star Zach Greinke before the trade deadline, but they have a worse record after 144 games this year than they did 1 year ago. The reason? Their bullpen. They have not protected leads well.
I talked to Mike Scioscia, and he raves about the Royals bullpen. He likes what Ned Yost has out there in the pen, guys that can blow the ball by guys, and that's the key. Get big strikeouts late in games.
And Rex, here's what you're talking about. The Royals bullpen has the third lowest ERA in baseball, 3.05 in the American League. They have the most strikeouts, 482. The Angels, they do get a lot more innings from their starters, but they are 10th in the American League at ERA, 3.82, and they have almost 140 fewer strikeouts than Kansas City's pen. Bourgeois goes, pitch inside, throw, not in time. Second steal for Jason.
Okay, Bourgeois, he won that cat and mouse game between Richards. Throwing over, trying to pick him off. He took a little peek back at Escobar, goes in there hard, and you know what? Look, you got to be careful. Sometimes when you go head first, the fielder will put his leg in front of the base, and he's lucky he's not hurt there. Look at that. His left arm tucked underneath him. Well, that's a potential injury there. Woo, man. I thought it was Howie Kendrick's foot, but it was his slide that he couldn't get his hands out there.
Now a base hit gives the Royals back a 2-run lead. Escobar gets it done. Bourgeois will score. KC goes up 7-5.
Tell you what, the Royals, they're feasting off of this crowd here at the K. The K is alive tonight. It's a vocal crowd. Maybe this is the cool weather, but that continues his 10-game hitting streak right there with an RBI attached to it.
Mike Scioscia will come out once again. The Angels bullpen unable to get it done. Richards gave up the lead, now allows the Royals to get an even bigger cushion at 7-5. We'll be right back. It's time for our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only two pitchers to win 10 or more games in a season for both the Angels and the Royals? We'll give you the answer later in the game. That's a good question. You know, there was a lefty here who lost like 18 straight games. Andy Hassler, he pitched for both ball teams. Don't know if that's the answer, but I'm just throwing that out for fans to chew on. Meantime, Nick Miranda comes out of the bullpen, the 6'3" Lefty from Lexington, Kentucky. He has opened his big league career with 5 straight scoreless outings, allowing just 1 hit in 11 at bats while striking out 6. He will face the left-handed swinging Alex Gordon.
Okay, this young man has been a starter. So when you're young, most of the times you make your debuts in the big leagues out of the pen, and he's done a nice job. Scioscia's not afraid to bring him in. He's got a 93 to 94 mile an hour fastball. He'll throw a slider, tries to sink his fastball a little bit, and occasional changeups. But he comes right after guys.
Gordon rips it foul. And the jump that Escobar got, he would have scored from first base.
I talked about this crowd and the way the Royals have been playing. They're happy to be home. Esky was off on contact.
And Hunter was way around towards left center. Now he's moved a little bit more over towards right, and the ball is popped foul. Carrasco will not have a chance, and it's 0-2. The inning started with Garrett Richards on the hill. He got Giabatella to pop up, but Bourgeois reached on the infield hit, stole second base. Escobar knocked him in. He's at first base. Kansas City with 3 more stolen bases tonight. They now have 120. That ties them with the Angels for second most in the American League. And Rex, we're seeing that element of the game more in the second half this year. With the Royals down in home runs, they are running the bases much better. Not only the steals, but the hit and runs.
They're paying attention to detail. Paying attention to detail. What's ahead? Sometimes a couple plays ahead or a couple pitches ahead. Ned Yost has them focused.
Escobar goes. The pitch is fouled out of play. He had a very good jump. You always wonder how a young pitcher will handle a pennant race. And that is certainly the situation for Nick Miranda, who was drafted by the Angels in the 3rd round just last year out of the University of Florida, and he's already in the big leagues. But pitching in September for the first time.
It's a good experience for him.
Gordon pulls it. Kendrick's only play is first base. Alex is out. Now first base is open. Do they dare pitch to Billy Butler, or will they intentionally walk him and go against Perez? Well, Mike Scioscia is going to make the move, and he will bring on a right-hander to face Butler because he doesn't want to put that many base runners on to let this game get out of reach.
No, and you know, whether there's anybody on or not, he wants a right-hander to face Billy, not a lefty.
Exactly.
Billy rakes lefties. It's Jordan Walden.
Steve Physiok, Rex Hudler. We're now joined by the all-time closer in Royals history, Jeff Montgomery. And it was interesting how the Angels improved their offense, getting Pujols. They improved their starting rotation, getting C.J. Wilson and Zach Greinke. But they did nothing to improve a beleaguered bullpen.
Well, Fizz, my opinion is a good bullpen will not win you a pennant. But if you don't have a good bullpen, you cannot win a pennant. So I think it's very clear that their bullpen has been an issue. I had a chance to talk earlier with Mark Ubazan. He said this is one of the problems they've had this year is the bullpen has not been solid for them throughout the entire season. And Mark is their color analyst in our television broadcast, so he's seen a lot of baseball here with these guys. And tonight C.J. Wilson going 5 and going out with one after facing one batter in the 6th inning. So creating problems for the club and putting a lot of stress on their bullpen.
Jordan Walden is the new pitcher.
Okay, and it's a guy who likes to bring it. He'll go mid to upper 90s for sure. He's got a slider. But Walden was a closer for a couple of years, had a little bit of a rough go at it. And they went out and got Fernando Rodney. Rodney didn't do the job for him at the back end, so they let him go. Tampa Bay, now he's their rock star. So Walden really doesn't have a role right now.
Hit sharply, but right at the second baseman, Howie Kendrick. Butler is out. But KC gets an important 7th run, and they now have a 2-run edge on the Angels.
Alcides RBI last inning. Royals up 7-5. Panera takes us around the league. David Price, 18th win over the struggling CC Sabathia. Huge victory for Tampa Bay. Detroit shuts out Cleveland behind Justin Verlander. So within a half a game of the White Sox, but that could go away real quickly because Chicago, Chris Sale, remember it was supposed to be Sale and Verlander last night, rained out. They are shutting out Minnesota. And one other note pertaining to New York, Derek Jeter. Told you the other night he tied Willie Mays for 10th all-time on the hits list. He passed him here tonight. Couple of big milestones, guys, in that game because also A-Rod passed Lou Gehrig for 9th all-time in runs. And there you see the number on Derek Jeter as he continues to do it. Should also let you guys know that Omaha right now losing in Game 3 of the PCL Championship 3-0 in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th at Warner Park.
They will play again tomorrow night, and if need be, a game on Sunday in Omaha. Right now, Steve Physiok, Rex Hudler with Jeff Montgomery. Thank you, Joel Goldberg, as Aaron Crow comes out of the bullpen. And we were talking about bullpens, Jeff, where Kansas City, this is their strength. If they can get the lead to the 6th, 7th, 8th inning.
Well, they have such depth in the bullpen. Here we see Aaron Crow, and he's one of 3 or 4 different relief pitchers that Ned Yost has the ability to go to with that lead in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning and know that he's going to probably get that ball to Greg Holland, his closer, into the 9th inning. Holland's been spectacular with the exception of last night and closing games out. On contrast, you look at the Angels. If they get to the 9th inning, if they're leading after 8, their record is 69-2. Nice little play by Eske. first out of the inning, but their record is 69-2 if they are leading after 8 innings. Their issue is not the 9th inning. Their issue has been the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and that's the luxury that Ned Yost has with guys like Aaron Crow, and we've seen Kelvin Herrera, and Tim Collins has done a great job. I mean, all the setup guys have really done a nice job getting the ball to that closer.
Here is Mark Trumbo. Always good to see him up with no one on base. This guy has 30 home runs. He's driven in 84. Crow's first pitch misses badly at 96 miles an hour, 1 ball and no strikes.
The fastball, he sets up his slider, although I've seen Crow go 3 or 4 sliders in a row.
Well, he has the ability to throw nothing but sliders, and he has a slider he can throw for a strike, and when he's on and the ball's down, it's unhittable, and even the hitters know it's coming, and it's still very difficult to hit.
And you said an interesting note, because Mark Gubicza and you are very good friends and good friends of ours as well. But you compared Gooby's delivery a little bit with Aaron Crow.
Well, I always said Gooby has a little hitch in his giddy up. But if you watch Aaron Crow, when he brings the ball behind him, you'll see that little flicker almost behind his back. And I think that creates some deception.
Trumbo gets a base hit to center field.
And Mark Gubicza really had that same type little flicker behind his body, and again, that creates some deception. I'm sure Rex, you would be able to tell us that creates a difficult situation for the hitter as far as being able to pick up that pitch.
That's right. Gubicza on the left and Victor Rojas on the right.
7-5. Kansas City has the lead. Alberto Callaspo is now the batter, and he gave Kansas City some problems back in inning number 4 when he dropped a base hit into right field that drove in 2 runs. Strike 1. But Mike Scioscia raved about the Royal Arms as early as spring training. I mean, I didn't even ask the question, and he said, man, you guys have some power arms, and we're not talking about, 1 or 2. We're talking about 4 at the big league level. And the other thing that Mike said, he said, you want to have about 10 guys in the minor leagues so 3 will make it. And he goes, our scouts tell me that Kansas City has 20 guys in the minor leagues, so you think maybe 6 will come along. And we may have seen one tonight in Giordano Ventura, who is here with the minor league guys who are the award winners. And he was at Northwest Arkansas, and he hits 100 miles an hour.
And then every once in a while you have to get a performance like we saw from Lewis Coleman, where he comes in and picks up maybe a Kelvin Herrera, whose batteries are charging up tonight after a lot of action on the road trip. Coleman comes in and does a real nice job getting a couple big strikeouts and a scoring threat by the Angels. So
yeah, he made one mistake, and Ivar took him down the left field or right field line, but he came back strong.
How key was the play when they did try to score Trout from third? I would have tied up the game.
Slider struck him out. Well, we have the time, guys. Let's go to our AT&T trivia question. We asked it earlier, who are the only 2 pitchers to win 10 or more games in a season for both the Angels and the Royals? Do you have the answer,
Nope,
sir?
no pressure, though.
One guy comes to mind, Kevin Appier.
That's a very good answer,
Ding, ding,
and
ding,
it is correct.
Monty, stay hot.
And Paul Bird.
Oh, man, we could have
Birdie. Remember when Bird pitched here in 2002, up in the left field stands, you'd have the fans up there flapping their arms as if Paul Bird, and Paul would flap them back to him.
So Ned Yost knows that Kenny Morales was just announced as a pinch hitter. And Ned knows that Morales is a better hitter left-handed than he is right. So he's going to go to the lefty out there and make Morales hit from the right side.
That means Tim Collins will come out of the bullpen. The 8th inning, Tim Collins comes out of the bullpen. He has been terrific this year. Look at the number of strikeouts. 90. That is a left-handed reliever record for Kansas City history. And he has 9 holds, hoping for 10, and he will face Kendrys Morales. And this is a guy who got the Royals back on July 23rd this year. And the bases were loaded. Kansas City had the lead, and he was facing Greg Holland. So he only made it to first base, but he cleared the bases. And that was the difference in the Angels' win. And he hits one high in the air, deep to left field. Gordon is back, and he's done it again.
First pitch, fastball. He was looking, and he's pinch hit before. And what hitters do when they come off the bench, they want to get in the game on that first pitch. And it was a mistake, and Morales answered. 6th RBI as a pinch hitter now for Morales. That ball's right out of the plate, and he knew it was gone.
I would say Tim Collins knew as soon as that pitch left his hand, it had a chance to have a poor result, and unfortunately that happened.
We are back to square one. 7-7 ball game in the 8th. Mike Trout, the batter. Strike one.
Monty, I like to tell people that the hitter knows first if he got it all. The pitcher knows second.
Well, I think.
Or do you disagree with that?
I think as soon as a pitcher, a lot of bad pitches like that have bad results, as soon as a pitcher lets go of it, he has a pretty good feeling before the bat head hits the ball that he's on thin ice. Something bad very, very possibly could happen very soon.
Oh, just like that, it's a tie game.
They have been able to keep Mike Trout quiet for the most part. He is 1 for 4 with a single his last time up.
Collins coming in and only allowed a 176 average to righties with 3 homers. So it was that one mistake that could cost you.
Trout gets on for the second time, and he likely will be going with 2 outs. This is the second straight night that the Royals bullpen has struggled. Last night trying to protect a 3-1 lead going into the 7th inning of play, into the 8th inning I should say. They gave up a run in the 8th, a run in the 9th to tie, and then lost it in the 10th.
This game's turning out to be a prize fight. It's a brawl. What's exciting here for me is to see Salvador Perez and Trout, 2 of the youngest and best positioned players there are in baseball, seeing if one can throw another out.
He is 8 stolen bases shy of matching the most stolen bases in a player's age 20 season or younger. Ty Cobb stole 53 bases in 1907 when Cobb started at the age of 20 like Trout did, and then turned 21 late in the year. Trout did that in August. He is not going yet, but all of a sudden the pitch out is taken away because the count is 2-0. 6'1", 210. Built like a running back, as fast as one. Kansas City's pen continues to struggle, and Collins has not recorded an out, a home run, a single, another single. And right now Kelvin Herrera is warming up as quickly as possible down in the Kansas City pen. Perez goes out for a visit, and I think this is more to give Herrera time to throw.
And you know, he's just missing out over. That's what it is. He's not as sharp as he typically is. His curveball got hit by Trout. Fastball got hit. These are big league hitters that
And
thrive on stuff out over the middle.
And I beg your pardon, guys, I didn't have my binoculars. It is Jeremy Jeffress who's been warming. So I was squinting out there, and it was not Herrera. It was Jeffress warming. And right now, Ned Yoser will send Dave Island out. And Dave visited with Tim Collins on how they want to deal with Albert Pujols. KC started the inning with a 7-5 lead. They had a 7-5 lead with 2 out. Morales belted a home run, back-to-back singles by Trout and Ibar. Pujols is 0 for 3 with an intentional walk.
Just keep it down.
He gets strike 2.
That straight changeup's an excellent pitch for him. Sometimes he'll double up with that pitch. I mean, it's a straight one, and it's a good change of speeds.
He feels very good about that pitch. He has a lot of confidence in throwing any count, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him double up with it.
Way inside, and it hits Albert Pujols, and now the bases are loaded.
Well, he didn't mean to do that, and you wonder where it hit Albert. Albert's been nursing a sore right calf, and maybe it hit his left calf. Let's see. Yeah, it hit his left calf. So now he's got boo-boos on both calves.
So Ned is going to go to the bullpen and bring on Jeremy Jeffress, and this is an interesting call because Jeremy has never been known for his command. He does have an impressive fastball and curveball, but now he must deliver strikes to Torrey Hunter. We'll be right back.
Time to throw him in the fire. See what you can do.
To see every Royals out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Royals.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Well, here's the situation. Jeremy Jeffress, he has been a closer in the past in the minor leagues, but now in the big leagues, he has an 0.93 ERA. That's been impressive. But Jeff and Rex, his challenge has always been command, never stuff.
Well, we saw from his first outing here in Kansas City last year when he was making his appearance for the Royals, we saw a great fastball, but we just have not seen a consistent command. And you look at the scoreboard tonight, Bruce Chen got in trouble in the 4th inning. It was command. We see Tim Collins here in this 8th inning where the Angels have scored twice. issue was command. So any pitcher, regardless of your fastball, you have to be able to command it.
2 outs. The Angels have the bases loaded.
So Torrey gets a second chance with the bases loaded tonight. He struck out in his first time on an 0-2 fastball on the inner half by Coleman.
Ball 1.
Smart. Don't want to give him a first pitch fastball. That's what he's looking for with the bases loaded. Most of the time, Monty, you're going to try to throw strike 1, aren't you?
You know, especially if you're a guy that throws hard like Jefferson. Occasionally, you can have the problem getting the ball up by trying to overthrow the ball a little bit. That curveball will get you really down in the strike zone.
But the challenge for Jeffress coming up from the minor leagues, sometimes you give big league hitters, great hitters like Hunter, too much credit. So all of a sudden he has a 2-0 count and no place to put Torrey Hunter.
And he's looking dead red now.
And he will probably get dead red.
He did at 94 and swings and misses.
Monty, there are certain times in a game where you have to challenge hitters.
My philosophy was I've got to give every hitter at least one chance to put wood on the ball. Otherwise, I can't get him out. So that was his chance right there. Now, hopefully, you have the chance to get ahead and expand the strike zone so you don't have to give him a hitter's pitch. He's back now 3-1. He's going to have to really give in to the hitter.
Did not miss by much, but he did miss, and it's 3-1 in a 7-7 game. With the bases loaded, Trout on third, Ibar second, Pujols first. Eight to 7. The Angels have the advantage as Trout checks in from third. And this has been an abysmal inning for Kansas City's bullpen. It started with Aaron Crow, and quite frankly, he did a good job. He left with 2 out and 1 on, but Ned Yost chose to go to Tim Collins, and Collins gave up a home run, a pair of hits, hit a batter, and Jeffress was called on and walked a man in. Now it's Howie Kendrick.
Okay, being a manager is not an exact science. It's a tough job, and sometimes you make gut decisions. Now, he didn't want Morales to hit swing left-handed, who he's hitting 290 left-handed Morales compared to 209 right-handed. So Ned went by the book, by the numbers, and he brought in the lefty to switch him over, but he wasn't counting on Collins to leave him a fastball first pitch right there saying hit me.
Got to execute the plan.
The 9th Angel to bat in this inning is up. 5 straight have reached since the second out was recorded. One and two.
Okay, these opportunities that Lewis Coleman's getting and Jeffers is getting, this is good for them. This is good for their maturity. It's good for their growth. Get these guys in some meaningful games here that mean something here towards the end and show what they've got.
Right, you can find out a lot about a player, or in particular a pitcher, putting right in the fire, find out how they are able to survive or not.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Kendrick, but a huge inning for the Angels against the Royals bullpen. Kendrys Morales with the biggest hit, a 2-out, 2-run home run that erased a 7-5 Kansas City lead. Chris Iannetta, who was pinch hit for by Kendrys Morales, who blasted the home run that tied the game. The new pitcher will be Kevin Jepson, a big, strong right-hander out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He has a 3.09 ERA, and he has become their 8th inning guy of late. And this is a guy who has had this stuff, but occasionally he will go wild, although you can see not bad strikeout to walk ratio, 32 Ks to 9 strikeouts. And this could be the last chance for Salvador Perez to extend his hit streak. He is 0 for 3 with a ground out and a couple of flyouts. And as you know, Salvador has hit in 17 straight games.
Kevin Jepson has moved into that setup role because he's been consistent. He's got a good, hard mid-90s fastball. He'll also cut it. That's what his pitching coach Mike Butcher taught him a couple of years ago, a little cutter and an occasional curve.
Again, that was the cut fastball, and it's away from Salvador Perez.
He's got him reaching.
Perez, Moustakas, Francoeur in this 8th inning.
But they come inside with a heater here. I'll be setting up away.
Why not go back there and see if Salvador would chase a pitch further away? He did not.
Salvi's quick inside.
The Royals at 65 and 78. The Angels at 77 and 66. They're the team that's trying to get into the postseason, 3.5 games back of the wild card when the night started. That ball struck pretty well to center field, but Trout has it measured. 1 out. We're in the 8th inning. Mike Moustakas hit a home run back in the 2nd, but Kansas City with 3 home runs. 2 were solo shots, one by Billy Butler, number 100 in his career. Moustakas, 1 out later, hit a solo shot to right center, and then Jeff Francoeur gave Kansas City a short-lived lead. That was in the Sonic Slam 6th.
Made a lucky fan 800.
900.
Oh, excuse me.
Carl of Independence. Moustakas hits it sharply. 1 hop though to Kendrick. Quickly 2 outs.
Yeah, that $900 could buy Carl a new nice big screen he can watch Royals games on.
Indeed. Well, Jeff Francoeur was facing a tough right-hander in Garrett Richards back in the 6th inning. And he hit a 2-run home run. It was number 13 this year for Jeff. Ball 1.
I thought that was an impressive at bat from Francoeur in that inning. Down in the count, was able to get a pitch he could handle and put a good swing on it. Saw the power that he's displayed, especially last year, that we saw so frequently. Good to see it tonight.
And he hits that one sharply to right field. That will get to the wall. Francoeur slips around first. He has second base with a double. So the tying run is in scoring position for Eric Hosmer.
Okay, now Torrey Hunter not real familiar with that right field carom out there. Sometimes when that ball struck, it hugs the wall and it'll wrap around. So it bounced 3 times on that wall. Now Frenchie, let's take a look at him. Typically he'll go for third, but when he slipped right there, I think that kind of hurt him a little bit. He said no more third base. He was thinking 3, but when his right foot gave way there, that's when he abandoned the thoughts of going to third.
It looked like his right foot slid and his left foot kind of got jammed on the base.
So they continue to mix and match here at the K. They're going to go with the left-hander to try and get the left-hander Eric Hosmer out. We'll be right back. Walter to find out what was in the book of knocks about Scott Downs.
Well, he told him he's got a good fastball. He'll cut his fastball and a really big curveball.
He has faced Eric 3 times. He has gotten them all 3 times. .281 ERA. He had a sensational first half, the best of his career, posting an 0.3 ERA, but the second half has not gone as well. 9.26 earned run average. Tying run in scoring position. Eric goes after the first pitch, and it was that slurvy breaking ball away from a tall left-hander.
You know, Downs had some DL time. He missed 20 games with the left shoulder strain. He's going to be sweeping that ball away from Haas till Haas tells him he can lay off it.
Popped him up. We head to the 9th inning. The Angels lead by 1.
Getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live. Can the Royals come back? Second straight rough night for the bullpen. We will break that down. Take a look back at Billy Butler's 100th career home run. And we'll get you ready for tomorrow's matchup. No TV, so you may want to come out and see this one because a fantastic matchup. Zach Greinke, the former Royal and Cy Young Award winner, going up against the Royals' best, Jeremy Guthrie. That tomorrow night here at Kauffman Stadium. Boulevard Royals Live coming up after the game, guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. And right now it is 8-7. Angels have the lead. Game 1 of this series. Vernon Wells will lead things off. He'll be followed by Mark Trumbo and Alberto Callaspo. The Angels have had 2 huge innings. One in the 4th when they scored 4 times, and one again in the 8th inning when they scored 3 runs. It's one of the rare times this year, and it's been in back-to-back nights where the Royals bullpen has struggled. With Jeffress down, with Kelvin Herrera down the night, just giving him some rest. Jeffress has been pitching some important moments in this game, but none more important than in that 8th inning, when he came on with the bases loaded and walked Torrey Hunter to knock in the go-ahead run.
If he can command that curveball he has right there and throw that for strikes, it's going to make him a lot more effective to go along with his mid-90s fastball. But so far he got a strikeout on that, but it still was a ball down.
He will turn 25 years of age on September 21st, in just a few days. And Jeffress, we've told you before, always has had the great stuff, but unless you can command your stuff, you will wind up in the minor leagues. Here is the 3-1. Hit in the air. Long run for Bourgeois. And he can't hold on to the baseball. Wells off for third base and will make it safely with a triple. That's a ball that has to be caught.
Oh, man. Run all that way. Get to it. It's too bad. Had plenty of room, plenty of time. Just off the end of his glove.
Rex, we talk about controlling a count, finishing guys off, but when you're constantly 2-0, 3-1, you're putting yourself as a pitcher on the defensive. And that was a 3-1 pitch that Wells knew what was coming and handled it pretty well.
So let's see if he can go to work here and hold him from getting that run home.
Trumbo singled his last time up. Came around to score on the Kendry Morales home run. It has gotten quiet at the K. They had stirred things up when KC was leading 7-5. Francoeur gave them the lead with the home run.
Well, you know, this isn't not typical of a Royals bullpen. Okay, no Herrera tonight. And it happens.
Vin Mazzaro starting to warm down in the Kansas City pen. KC with 3 home runs tonight, 2 solo shots, one by Billy Butler, one by Mike Moustakas, a 2-run smash by Jeff Francoeur that gave Kansas City a 6-5 lead. They scored another run on Escobar's single in the 7th to make it 7-5, but the Angels came up with 3 in their half of the 8th and now threatening to score in the 9th. Trumbo sails that one long but foul.
Trumbo is a beast. He might be one of the strongest guys there is in baseball. I mean, you know, a lot of these big power hitters are strong, but, you know, 30 homers, 84 RBIs. He's done his share of hitting. He's fallen off a little bit lately with some strikeouts, but this guy, he led the team in home runs last year, and he played first base, and they went out and got Albert. And so they thought they might want to play him at third base. That didn't work out, so he could play some outfield, and he DHs.
In there, strike 3 called. So Jeffress gets an important strikeout, but needs one more. With Wells at third base, the infield in.
Okay, there it is. Go after him. That's a good spot. Caught him. Thought maybe a breaking ball might be coming. He got him to swing at that over the top of that curveball earlier, and that's what he was doing. He was looking for that.
And now a guy who's a tougher out than Trumbo because he's a contact guy. Callaspo does not strike out that much and has good plate discipline. He's actually walked more times than he struck out this year.
Infield in, that opens up a lot of lanes.
Good speed at third and Wells. Good pitch. 1-1. Dino Ebel as his third base coach. He's getting the signs from him as Jeffress needs another strikeout or a ground ball struck right at an infielder or a pop-up. 2-1.
You know, Mike Scioscia, he has been known to squeeze. Callaspo's a guy that can handle the bat. Tough chance, though, against a guy who throws really hard.
Out of play. Now it's a 2-2 count.
No squeeze now.
And not only that, with Jeffress being as wild as he can be, he'd be a tough guy to squeeze.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
We've seen Mike do that.
So you going with fastball or the hammer here?
I'm going to try another breaking ball on it. For a strike. Down. The way he's setting up, though, is going to be fastball away.
It's low, 3-2. A walk would not hurt him. You have a young Cole Calhoun in the on-deck circle. Just called up from the minor leagues. That way the middle infield could play back a bit where they could go for the double play. First things first. Walked him. Vin Mazzaro is more of a ground ball pitcher, and Ned Yost will come out of the dugout and I believe go to Mazzaro to try and get that situation here in the 9th inning with runners on first and third. Jeffress has been a little bit wild. Now he will come out, and Yost has made the move to the bullpen. We'll be right back. Unbeaten and 15th ranked K-State plays Saturday on Fox Sports Kansas City. The Wildcats host North Texas at 6 o'clock. Big 12 football this Saturday on Fox Sports Kansas City, and looks like Bill Snyder has another very good team with that Colin Klein at quarterback. Well, for the Royals, they will go with Vin Mazzaro, and Vin has a good sinking fastball, and I'm imagining that's exactly why Ned Yost called him on to face this Cole Calhoun.
Slider to go with that sinking fastball. Pretty good change up and a curve. He's got all four. See what he decides to use here. Wants that ground ball double play in the worst way here.
Runners on the corners for the Angels. And there is strike one.
Get an anxious young man up there, wants to impress. You might get him to roll over and hit into one.
Cole made his first appearance yesterday since August 31st. He's gone 3 for 18 this year with the club. And that was after hitting .299 with 30 doubles down at AAA Salt Lake.
He's 0 for 4 as a pinch hitter.
Calhoun last year was named the Angels minor league player of the year, finishing the season hitting .324 with 22 home runs. And sends that one out of play. And I would imagine with Mazzaro pitching for Omaha and Cole Calhoun playing for Salt Lake, they faced each other in that Pacific Coast League.
Yeah, you know, that can be comforting to a young hitter, too, especially when Ned Yost went out and got Mazzaro and brings him in. He says, hey, I've seen that guy before. I can beat him.
One ball, 2 strikes. Barely missing outside. Now the count is 2-2.
Tell you, that's a pretty good plate discipline for a young player to lay off of that, but ball was down. That's where Salvi wanted it.
He must be a little more aggressive here on 2-2. Coming inside, popper over the plate. They get it to Giavotella onto first. Not in time. A run scores. It's 9-7 Halos.
Okay, that was a tough play right there. The ball is over the bag, so communication's important. But you know, sometimes, I mean, Giavotella, they're talking right now. Escobar was going to field that, but Gio had better position right there, and a good try. Escobar's momentum is coming that way, but that's a tough play, and the only way that Escobar could have gotten Giavotella off of it was to call it on the first hop when it bounces off the plate. That's when you yell right away, I got it, I got it. That's the only way that he would call Gio off on that.
Here is Mike Trout. Trout 2 for 5 in this game, raising his batting average to .332, which leads the American League. Miguel Cabrera behind him when the night started at .328. So an RBI for Calhoun, making it 9-7. Salvi throws behind, but getting back in time as the throw is low. Escobar has it. They get the fours. A nice play by Esky. 6-4 it goes. But in the inning, an important run for the Angels to go up by 2 over Kansas City.
Esky with a nice save.
Anaheim. John Hester is the new catcher. And the new pitcher will be Ernesto Frieri, who has been their closer, and he has done a magnificent job recently. He recorded his 18th save on Sunday, his 5th of the 4-out variety. His last 5 outings are scoreless, allowing just 3 hits, 20 at-bats while striking out 10. And you better believe he is a strikeout pitcher, 75 this year. He goes 6'2", 200. As a matter of fact, if you include his days with the San Diego Padres, he's just 7 strikeouts shy of the century mark. He will face hitters 9, 1, and 2. That means Johnny Giavotella. Then David Lowe has moved to the on-deck circle to bat for Jason Bourgeois. And then Alcides Escobar. Giavotella 1 for 3 in the game. That double came back in the 3rd inning when Kansas City scored their 3rd run and took a 3-0 lead. But the Angels came up with 4 in the 4th to go up 4-3. And then we went back and forth until right now it's 9-7 Angels.
Okay, Frieri, he has a funky delivery. There's a little bit of a pause there. Hard to pick up his ball, but he'll go 89 to 94 with his fastball. He's got a 85 to 87 mile an hour slider, a curve, and a change. So he comes at guys. He's fearless. He's got a lot of confidence.
One and 2. To have a chance, Kansas City needs to get a man on to bring the tying run to the plate. The Royals have homered 3 times tonight. 1 by Butler, 1 by Moustakas, a 2-run shot by Jeff Francoeur.
Okay, this kid Frieri, he's an interesting story. He tossed 26 1/3 scoreless innings for the Halos in the first half, becoming the first Angel reliever in club history to not allow a run before the All-Star break. He was on fire in a tree. I mean, a tall redwood to have those kind of numbers.
Just low.
Got him from Buddy Black and the San Diego Padres.
A couple of minor leaguers, and it really solved their bullpen situation for a little while. They still are looking for a good setup man, and they've struggled in that area. They were able to get the shutout 8th inning tonight. Popped up, shallow right. Kendrick. 1 out. David Lowe pinch hitting for Jason Bourgeois. Bourgeois was on 3 times with a couple of hits and a walk. He also stole a couple of bases. The Royals stole 3 bases to go along with their 3 home runs, but they trailed by 2. And once again, for back-to-back nights, it has been a bullpen that has struggled. Herrera was not available, so Ned Yost had to go to Tim Collins, who's usually very reliable, and Collins could not get a man out. Faced 4, gave up a 2-run home run, a couple of singles, hit a batter, and they had to go to Jeremy Jeffress, who walked in a run.
This is Lowe's first major league pinch hit opportunity.
Good discipline there. Kansas City coming home from a 4-2 road trip to Chicago and Minnesota. A 3-game series here with the Angels. Then they'll welcome the Chicago White Sox for 3. And finally with the Cleveland Indians. 2 top contenders in a row. And the Angels, who are 3.5 games back in the wild card race, it's going to be really tough for them to catch the Texas Rangers, who are 7.5 games up in front of the Angels. And the White Sox had the lead in the Central.
Okay, Lowe's having a nice at bat here, fouling off some pitches, staying alive. And, that's what you want when you're pinch hitting. See as many as you can, possibly. Now 3-2, he knows the fastball is coming. Wants to try to put it in play, and that's what the Royals need. Base runners.
Detroit won, Chicago won. So the White Sox maintain their 1-game lead over the Tigers in the Central. KC in 3rd place. Lowe with a quality at bat, and the Royals still have a chance.
Exactly what they need. See if they can make some things interesting here on Frieri.
He has only allowed 4 home runs in 46 innings. Alcides Escobar, meantime, has only 4 home runs and has not hit a home run since he had that 2 home run game against the Chicago White Sox back in July. KC just wants him to keep things going. Then the big guys come up. Gordon, Butler, waiting next.
Frieri, he's 18 for 20 in saves, so he has blown 2.
Right-handers hit 190. Lefties 078. Lowe got on with a walk. 1-1.
Okay, Escobar said, you know what? That's straight, and I can hit that. Throw it to me again.
One and two.
Okay, that was a little bit too big of a swing for Escobar, but he was, he's trying to juice one there. So right now with 2 strikes on him, and they need base runners, he can go to that 2-strike approach. And the fact that Frieri blew that one by him, chances are he might come back with another one.
Another quality pitch at 95 that Escobar just does get a piece of.
That swing right there was exactly what he wants. Watch it. Nice and short. A lot better than the previous one.
Yeah, his head kind of pulled off the ball in the previous one. He was right on the baseball on that one. They are battling Frieri, who has been able to record 1 out, and he's thrown 18 pitches. He has had wild streaks this year.
Okay.
That was an emergency hack.
That's what they call it. Staying alive. Esky's good at that. Look at, he's got a smile on that one. He's like, well,
I can't handle that.
That wasn't a little embarrassing, but I'm staying alive here.
Well, Alcides Escobar had a 12-pitch at-bat the other day in Minnesota, and on the 12th pitch, he lined a base hit to left field. He's putting together another quality at-bat. It was against a tough right-hander in Minnesota in Casey Fiend. He was throwing fastballs, breaking balls, coming inside, outside on Escobar. Finally blows him away on an up fastball, and Escobar mad at himself. That was not a strike. So the Royals down to their final out, and it is Alex Gordon. Rex Frieri, we told you, the left-handers are batting only .078 against him. 77 batters, only 6 have recorded hits. What does he do that's so tough for left-handers?
Well, he has no fear. One thing, he challenges guys with his fastball. He's got a nice slider and a changeup that he'll use against him. There's his fastball. See, he's just coming right at him.
Lowe took second base, no steal.
Closers do that. It's hard to explain why against a closer who's in for one inning, why righties or lefties are better than the other. It's because he's executing his spots, but mainly with fastballs. Closers that come in have great stuff. They have above 90, mid 90s fastballs, and so when they're hitting their spots, it's hard to hit. So now he's quickly ahead of Gordon, and now Gordon's going to have to go on the defensive a little bit, and he hadn't even shown him his changeup away or his little slider. See, and Hester likes that, calling that ball up. He's trying to get a high fastball by him, just like he did on Escobar.
He almost made a mistake because it wasn't as high as Hester wanted it.
But he's a strikeout pitcher. He's struck out 15 of the last 31 batters he's faced.
Gordon again battling him. Much like Escobar, the count is 1-2 as Frieri coming out of that bullpen throwing strikes. We told you there have been times where he has been wild this year, but lately in the last month in September he has been very sharp, hitting his spots inside and outside.
94 strikeouts this season combined between San Diego and LA, our third amongst major league relievers. So he's a max effort power guy. Back end of your pin, you need guys that can get strikeouts.
Another good duel between Frieri and Arroyo.
And see, he's not giving in. He's way ahead in the count. Frieri is, and he hasn't even thrown him a breaking ball yet.
On the 7th pitch to Escobar, he went up with his fastball. This will be the 7th pitch to Alex Gordon. Staying away. That time the breaking ball low will take third. No throw.
Hey, that's his first little slider.
The 8th pitch in this at bat coming to Alex Gordon.
He's trying to keep it away from him as you see Fox tracks there. But if he makes a mistake it'd be great to see Gordon pull him.
It's full.
Yeah, he's got a good AB going. He's locked in. He's not nibbling on that breaking ball. It's 2 curves or sliders in a row here. And based on what we've seen so far in his first few hitters this inning, I'd say fastball's coming.
This is the 9th pitch. Gordon to left field, but it stays up for Vernon Wells. And the Angels take game 1 of this 3-game series by a final of 9-7. Important win for the Angels, who came in 3.5 games back in the wild card. We'll be right back.